means of activism?
Yes, I did.
Wow, def nako.
Just before that, pardon me. When, as at the time you met to issue the statement, the political atmosphere of this country was quite tense. And fear was looming in the hearts and minds of the citizens. How did you feel as an individual and your colleagues as well about what you were going to do? How did you feel about it?
yow ci sa bop nak ak sa ay natango lan ngeen yek ci lolu nga xamne yeen ko paré wona garal
I just want to take you back a little bit.
Dama la bëgga delo gannaaw tuuti rek.
Just my own personal experience.
Ci li nga xamne ni man jankuwante nako.
To contextualize how I felt and why I felt that way.
Pour leral ni nga xamne ni non la yegon ak lutax ma yegé won nonu.
As I said before, the first time I actually cast a vote was 2016.
Comme li ma fi waxone demb rek ne njël ben yoon pour ma sanni carte moy ci atum 2016.
Because I believe that this time around our vote will count.
Ne yaakaar nañ ne jamono bobu suñ carte yi dal dana nek lo xamne lu am solo la.
Rightly or wrongly, that's what I believed at the time. So I went out to vote very early. I got up around 5:30 with some friends. Rafi Diab, my friend Rafi Diab, and another friend. After we voted, we came back to Rafi Diab and William Abraham were together, in fact. And I recall seeing a lot of people I know from all walks of life queuing to vote. And that gave me a lot of hope. Then we stayed together for almost 48 hours because remember when the election results were being announced. It must be the longest 48 hours for Gambians. And I didn't go home. I was in my friend's house. We were just watching, following the results. We had a laptop, computing everything, every single information we were computing. We were in Excel. And we had insiders who were giving us information as well. Even before the election results came out, we had already added in our own way to suggest that Adam Barrow had won the election. For those of you who are around, I mean, if you came out around Kerr Avenue, Serakunda, Bakau, I mean, the kind of euphoria and joy. We had tears of joy. We were so happy. Like we had reached the summit. I mean, it was an incredible feeling. I mean, I cannot even describe this. And I think many Gambians felt that way. From turntable to traffic light was like packed with people. From Caraba Avenue to Westfield. People were happy. I mean, it was an incredible feeling. So Gambians felt that, wow, something new is happening. We are finally free. And suddenly you started seeing military deployments. Every intersection you had very strong military deployment with anti-aircraft artillery and all kinds of. But what was bizarre was that Gambians were still celebrating. We were indifferent to them.
waaye nag li gënoon a doy waar Gambien yi ba léegi ñu ngi nekk di mbégtu.
The fear factor was broken.
ragal gi daal njàqare gi daal mujjee gi génn na fa.
For the first time knew that they can replace Jammeh.
loolu nag mooy di njëlbeen yoon bu ñu xamee daal mën nañoo fee remplacer Jammeh.
So when Jammeh decided to come on TV,
jamono bi Jammeh xalaatee na pour ñëw si télé bi.
and I got a tip-off from somebody from State House that it's not over yet. Jammeh will basically cancel this election, and I was warned to be careful.
ci la am nag ku ma yeetal nag ne ma jeexagul de Jammeh na mën naa bañ weer wote bi ba tey.
And the guy is a security personnel.
te kooku mu ngi yëngu ci wàlli kaaraange.
So he testified before this commission.
te ñëw na ci kanam commission bi.
And I told him, I don't know what Jammeh will say, but I don't think Gambia will accept this, whatever it takes or costs.
ci laa ko ne xaw ma lu Jammeh di wax de waaye Gambien yi fooguma dinañ ko nangu.
Because where we are right now, there's no way we'll go back.
ndax fi ñu toll nii gisuma dara loo xam ne dana tax ñu delluwaat gannaaw.
No way.
mukk.
So when Jammeh made that statement,
Jammeh nag jamono bi mu yébaanee kàddoo yooyu.
I mean, a lot of us who before perhaps were not very active felt that this time around we just have to do our best for our country.
ñun ñu bari nag ñu ñëpp ñu jàpp ne daal fi mu nekk nii jot na pour nañu defal suñ réew dara.
It's never too late to do the right thing.
du mën a tardé nag pour ñu def nag li nga xam ne ni moo war.
And that was the unanimous feeling of the bar.
jamono boobu nag baa bi yëpp ñun ñëpp loolu lañ jàpp ci suñ xol.
If you look at the members who came,
boo seetee ñi nga xam ne ni ñoo ñëw.
young, old, even those who were not called to the bar were there.
ñu ndaw ak ñu mag ñi nga donte sax ñi nga xam ne ni aw leen ci baa bi ñu fa
the likes of Batamide who were on holiday, Emmanuel Diouf, Ida Person, any Gambian who was a lawyer, you came.
Gambian boo gis na dekkoon lawyer daal ñëw nga.
Some of them were judges.
am na ñoo xam ne ni ay attekat lañ.
Some of them were in the state law office.
am na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi ci office
They came. So the issue of fair was not even in the equation at that point in time. It was what we had to do what we had to do, and come what may, we did it.
dañ war a def li ñu war a def.
That was the only calculus we had at that point in time.
loolu rek nag lañ nekkoon ci suñu sóoraale suñu xel jamono boobu.
Of course, we are mindful that it could have consequences, but at that time, I think our desire to do what we had to do really outweighed any sense of fear. Sometimes, in hindsight, I ask myself, what the hell were we doing, really? If you look at it now, you might say, wow, was that as... I mean, it could have gone the other way.
waaw loolu yëpp daal ñu xamoon nañ ne daal lu ne mën na cee fàqee ko waaye nag amul dara luñ daan xelaa daal lu weesu loolu si suñu xel.
So and during, after we did our press release,
gannaaw bu ñu defee nag suñ press release bi.
a few of us were in the bar who had some very good international contacts.
ñenn si ñun ñi nga xam ne nii am nañ jokkoo yu yéwén ci biti.
Because I have been very active with the Pan-African Lawyers Union.
amoon naa jokkoo ak Pan-African Union.
and West Africa Bar Association for the last 15 years.
ak mbootaay ñi nga xam ne ñooy lawyer ci diwaani Afrique sowu jant ci ay at.
So it basically gave me access to all the bar presidents in Africa.
loolu nag jox na ma taxawaay lu jëm ci wàlli taxawaay fii ci Afrique.
So between myself and Gay Sow,
suma diggante ak Jay Sow.
we called the head of Palu.
ci lañ oo nag di kii jiite na Palu.
A Kenyan called Donald Dia.
Kenyan boo xam ne mu ngi xam ñu xamee ko Donald Dia.
So he sent our statement to all the bar presidents in Africa.
ci la yónnee nag suñ kàddu ci bàyyi yëpp nekkee ci Afrique.
And issued a solidarity statement.
bind nag itamit kàddu goo xam ne ni kàddu guy féddali kóllëre la.
And copied to the AU and the UN.
ñu dal di ko àggale nag AU ak mbootaay United Nations gi.
And not to mention the other stuff that happened behind the scenes.
ak yeneen yi nga xam ne ni xew na ci gannaaw loolu.
The effect of this, in my humble opinion, is that
li ci faaxee ko nag ci suma xalaati bopp mooy.
at that time, the international community were not sure about the legal status of what Gambian law says. I mean, what was the position of Gambian law?
booba nag nit ñi daal di wuñ xam na li nga xam ne mooy taxawaay looy fii Gambia.
I mean, in some countries, if an election is challenged, you can stay. You can have a stay of execution. You can stay. You can cancel. Basically, the election will be annulled.
poto bu amee nag mbiri wote bi mën nañ koo dàq.
in our context, the election proceed. I mean, the winner would be sworn in, and you can pursue your appeal.
Ci fii nag ñun ci suñ loi mooy ki gagné dafay toog bu ko defee yow nga continuer sa d'appel.
So there was this dilemma whether or not who has power, who can invite the UN, who can invite ECOWAS.
Ci jamono boobu nag ñu ngi doon seet kana ci am doole kana mën a indi fii ECOWAS.
At that point in time, the government was Jammeh's government. So Jammeh's government was at the was at the UN, was at ECOWAS, was at EU.
Jamono boobu nag nguuri Jammeh la ñoo nekkoon ci ECOWAS, ñoo nekkoon ci United Nations, ñoo nekkoon ci EU.
So we managed to send a narrative that juridically yes, but legitimately this government doesn't have legitimacy.
Ci wàlli loi waaw waaye nag su fekkee ne ñu ngi jëm ci wàlli nu mu tëddee ci woote bi nag réew mi amuñ woote bi jaaruñ amul ku ko gagné.
I had cause to give legal advice at a very high level on this issue.
Am naa nag taxawaay pour ci yeddeef lu jëm ci mbir yi.
And through this process,
ci saawa soos nag.
I was fortunate to have a good friend of mine, an older brother.
Amoon naa sans nag am nag benn xarit di suma magi temen.
His name is Baba Shola Fashola.
ñu xawee ko Baba Sola.
He used to be governor of Lagos.
Mos naa nekk gouverneur bu Lagos.
And is now Minister of Works and Energy in Nigeria.
Léegi jamono ji de mooy ministre bi saytu wàlli courant bi ak mbiri liggéey ca réewi Nigeria.
He's a lawyer.
Tey lawyer la.
We was in contact. He was always calling to check on me.
Saay bu ne rek mu ngi bàyyi xel suma mbir.
So I explained to him that we have a dilemma now, and Jammeh wants to keep power, and he wants to use Nigerian judges.
Ci laa ko wax ne ko Jammeh de fi mu nekk nii dafa bugg a des ci nguur gi tey tamit jooji Nigerian yi la bugg a jëfoo.
So he asked me to write him a dossier.
Ci la ma laaj nag pour ma bind benn dossier.
He said he'll take up with President Buhari and the Chief Justice.
Boo xam ne dana ko yóbbu na ci President Buhari ak Chief Justice.
So I prepared a dossier.
Ma bind ko.
Which I will share with you.
Nga xam ne ni gannaaw li dinaa leen ko wan.
Giving him the background knowledge, background information, chronology of events, and why Nigeria should not allow the judges to come.
Bu ko fee rek wax ko nag li nga xam ne nii mooy li xew-xew yi ci am yëpp ci gannaaw ak li war a tax Nigeria waruñoo nangu seen jooji ñu ñëw.
So Aziz Bensouda and I, we coordinated this.
Aziz Bensouda ak man nag ñoo toppatoo lii.
And I used my contacts in Nigeria and sent it over.
Ma jëfoon nag suma contacts in Nigeria yàlla di ko yónnee.
That we were able to be in touch with the Office of the Chief Justice, Attorney General at the time, President of the Bar Association of Nigeria.
Ci kaw loolu nag ci lañ mën a dal di jokko Bar Association bi.
And civil society activists like Femi Falana.
Ku ñu mel ni ki Femi Falana.
Landela
Raju. And
what they did was they also allowed us to do activism in Nigeria. So effectively, they got me to write articles
on a pseudonym article
on mercenary judges trying to supplant democracy.
Mercenary democracy.
Which were printed in Premium Times of Nigeria this day, and even on Sahara TV.
So essentially, you obtained access into the media platform of Nigeria to extend the activism and ensure that the mercenary judges are not brought in.
So it was a two-pronged approach.
Fehebe joko ak ñi nga xamne ñoo nek Nigeria ngir ñoom itam ñu jappalé leen ba nga xamne atekat yoy nga xam dañ leen fay pour ñu ñëw ndax bu ñëw ci réew mi.
So it's a two-pronged approach because
dafa melni ñaari fana joko la.
Now we can talk about it because it's now, in the past, but it was sensitive because technically the executive cannot interfere with judges coming to Gambia.
Légui nak mbir mu muñ faté la mën nañ ko waxtané.
So the strategy we discussed we had a very small group, was that let's raise the let's use the executive actually put me in touch with the press and the activists somehow. So let's create a lot of noise in the Nigerian press that will put pressure on the executive. And one of the things that was said, I remember, was that there are Casamance rebels who might even attack judges come to Gambia.
Wa Casamance ñi nga xamné sax songon na leen ñu ngi comme liñ jégg na ñu ngi fexé.
So So this actually got, people started getting, even the judges themselves started getting afraid, and the government said, oh, if you go to Gambia, we cannot even guarantee your security.
ci kaw loolu nag ci lañ wax gars yi ne daal su ngeen demee Gambia daal mënuñoo garanti seen kaaraange.
So in the end, diplomatically, they wrote and told the government that the judges are not available. It's too short a notice. They will come in May or April, I remember.
Jamono boobu nag ci lañ bind nag nguur gi wan leen fi mu nekk nii nag yëgal bi dafa gàtt lool jooji de ay boori Mai wala April lañ mën a ñëw.
And that was the work of the Gambia Bar Association. And
te
also
nag Gambia Bar Association ñoo ko liggéeyoon.
Forces, of course, were also in the background. I don't want us to take the entire credit, but we led that process that ensured that those judges didn't come to Gambia.
Buguma moomale suñu bopp nag yëpp rek waaye nag ñoo ko jiite woon waaye am na ñeneen ñu nekkoon ci gannaaw.
But we believe that if those judges sat, maybe that was the only thing that Jammeh had.
Bu fekkee nag ne jooju yooyu ñëw nañ loolu rek nga xam ne moom la Jammeh dese woon.
At the time.
ci jamono boobu.
So after that, after the point, I felt that we need to do more. I mean, yes, we've issued a statement. We're working to stop the judges coming, and I was in constant touch with Aziz Bensouda. Was the only lawyer that I was really talking to. And
jamono boobu nag yëg naa ne def nañ te waaye war nañoo yokku ndax boo naal Aziz Bensouda rek laa daan gën di jokkoot.
I'm like, okay, just issuing a statement. Then what?
Mu ngi mel ni rek di joxe statement rek ak lan.
But I didn't get. I guess I was seen as being a bit too radical at the time.
Dama gis rek ne jamono boobu ngi déggal bopp rek waxtu woowu.
More like the bar has done its job. I'm like, yeah, but we had different ideas of maybe we should even file an action just to frustrate the process. But nothing. I wasn't getting that much traction from the bar.
Please, could you kindly slow down a bit? The interpreter is finding it very difficult to catch up.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So you felt that even the statement won't have much impact on Jammeh leaving because he was bent on holding on to power.
Dafa mel ni yéen ni ngeen ko gisee woon mooy seen kàddu yooyu nga xam ne da ngeen booloo bind ko sax loolu rek doyut ndaxte Jammeh mu ngi gënoon a dëgër rek ne moom du bàyyi réew mi.
And you and some of your colleagues went further to ensure that the mercenary judges, as you call them, that were being asked to come, don't come back into the country.
Mel ni yow yaa say naataango yi da ngeen taxawoon jonna daal pour gis ne ñooñu nga xam ne ñooy attekat yooyu ñu fay pour ñu ñëw fii ci biir réewi Gambia ngeen def seen kéemtalaay kàttan ba ñooñu duñ ñëw fii.
Point of correction, I would not call those mercenary judges.
ñooñu duma leen ooyee mercenary judges de.
With the exception of one of them, because they were distinguished. Judges.
I think wér lañ woon.
To some extent, I think Ajim was part of the list, by the way.
Yaakaar naa Ajim bokkoon na ci tur list boobu.
I think if the document I gave, I don't know why I gave it to you.
Kay boobu nga xam ne moom laa jox xam nga jox naa la ko.
Judges. It included just Ajim.
Mooy turi jooy yooyu noonu turi Ajim sax mu ngi ci bokkoon.
The document does have a list of judges that were requested by the government of the Gambia.
It's from Nigeria. And of course, there was one from, that's for Nigeria, but there's also from Sierra Leone. One of them was from Sierra Leone.
Am na keneen koo xam ne tamit mu ngi war a jóge ko Sierra Leone.
Some of our members also worked on the Sierra Leone government to ensure that the judge did not come.
Am na ñoo xam ne tamit ñu ngi doon lijjante ci Sierra Leone rek pour ne kooku du ñëw.
How did you get hold of the list of judges that were being requested for by the government of the Gambia?
Naka ngeen jotee ci lim yi tur yi nga xam ne dañ ko bindoon te nguuri Gambia sàkk woon ne dañ war a ñëw fii bàyyi ko Nigeria.
I got it from Aziz Bensouda.
Aziz Bensouda laa ko jëlee.
He gave me all. I told him about my conversation with Fashala, and he gave me all the information I needed.
ci laa ko wax nag suma waxtaan ak Fashala ci la ma jox nag tur yooyu yëpp.
Then, so we work very closely behind closed doors.
dañ doon jàppalante bu baax nag jamono jooju ci suuf.
And then we also used to brief the coalition leaders, as to what we're doing behind the scenes.
te dañ doon wax ak ñi nga xam ne ni ñooy liñ doon nekk di def.
So it was a very nice, cohesive. We're all one Gambia at the time.
nekkoon na déggoo boo xam ne ni bu am solo pour Gambien yi.
With one objective: how to make sure Jammeh goes.
ñu ñëpp ñu am benn jubluwaay pour naka la Yaay Jammeh di demee.
Yeah. So anyway, thereafter, I just felt that, yeah, the bar has done what it could do in the circumstances, and I realized that there's nothing much more I can get. Well, not I. As Benson and I were very frustrated. We wanted more to happen, but the bar has just done what it had to do, and that was commendable.
Man ak assist Bensuda nag ñu ngi doon fexe pour def leneen waaye na fekk baa bi li mu war a def na ko te tëgg nañ leen ci.
Then you know, and I was in those days I would compile every single statement issued on Gambia. I have a whole folder on everything about the impasse, every news item, every release, every day one organization, international, sub-regional would. So I was very obsessed with collecting the information, and then one day. I was in my study in my house, and my wife was like, "Oh, one of her friends, her name is Asta Job. She was posting a lot on Facebook, and she was saying, why are Gambians, we are cowards? Why are we not doing anything? We're just sitting here, and then there's this impact." That was the time that Jammeh made the announcement, and then President Salieu Johnson flew in, and with I think President of Ghana at the time and Sierra Leone, to talk to Jammeh. They flew in, spoke to Jammeh, left, and we had no information. All we know is that they came to Gambia, went to State House, and Ibn Chambers was there as well, I believe, spoke to Jammeh, left, and we were all speaking on Facebook or in a banter bar, speculating as to what is happening. We thought that maybe they would put Jammeh in their jet and take him away.
Mr. Taal, you have to take it in bits.
So, you know, I'm a little bit excited about it, so that's why.
I can see that. The interpreter is lost right now. So I'll appreciate it if you take it in bits so that he'll get all that you're saying for the benefit of the local listeners.
Okay, mange jegalu. So
you may have to take that in Wolof. Then after we proceed.
I can take it in Wolof even.
Yes, that would be helpful.
Wow. So see jamano bobu benn bés maa ngi liggéey suma kër suma office suma kër so suma jabaat daal di ma wax ne xaritam bu ñëw ooy Asta Diop yaramam dafa tànga daal mu ngi post Facebook every day di wax ne ñun Gambien si dañ na sax lu sax defuñu dara naka la ñoo toogee fii ñun ma ngi toll ñun Yaya Jammeh ñu vote président Yaya Jammeh decide ne ñun suñu vote du count xanaa ñun duñu ay góor xanaa ñun jànguñ xanaa amuñ xam-xam and what are we going to do about this? And I remember this post that struck me said, "The silence is deafening." I remember that because that was the time. Mo jamono bi nga xamne Salieu Johnson ñëw na fi. I think Mahama was outgoing president of Ghana, Sierra Leone president, and Ibn Chambers. They ñëw nañ fi pour waxtaan ak Jammeh. Waaye dañ ñëw waxtaan ak Jammeh after ñu dem airport duga plane ñibi askan bi lu gaay waxtaan foofu askan bi xamuñ ci dara xam nañ ñëw nañu waxtaan dem nañ so mu nga amoon this gap daal this information gap and the political party leaders they were in Kerr Hotel in their own space they were not saying much
duñ daan nangoo wax lu bari léegi ñu def nii fi mu nekk nii da ngaa def ma topp sa kaw rek I think it's better now.
Take it in bits, please, so that he will get all that you're saying. If not, we'll have to go back to the...
You want me to start again?
No, just you're fine right now.
From there.
Just take it in bits.
I will follow you.
Wolof or English?
English. He will follow.
Okay. So then I asked my wife to pass let me speak to Asta Diop. So Asta Diop told me, Sal, let's go and volunteer and help the coalition government. And deal with Jammeh. So I told her I have another idea. So I told her, why don't you come to the house tonight? Around 7. I'll call other friends and influencers to come. Then I'll order some food and we'll strategize. So I picked up my phone because I've always been active.
In
different, for example, we had done Ebola-free Gambia before many years ago.
Ebola-free Gambia before
So I have a good network of young influencers in the country. I know who they are. I've been working for years. So I picked up the phone. I called people I believe can amplify the voice of the Gambians. So I said, okay, I'll call someone from the press. I'll call somebody who's on the radio station. And my friend Rafi Diab, he's a printer, owns billboards. So I called him. Rafi Diab. I mean, and I called some guy who owns the IT company. Some guy who's a marketing and PR guy. Of course, plus my wife and her friends. So, and my cousin also, who was very good, Taal, who was also a very good strategist. A guy called Adrame, who was a project manager at MRC. And her wife, Njende. Who has a PhD, I think, in molecular biology or something, or can. So I got a group of really smart young Gambians. And I said, let's brainstorm and find a way of doing something about it. So I said, the idea is, I mean, we have this opportunity. These Gambians are now together. So we have to keep them together because Gambians, we have this. We quickly forget and move on to the next thing. And I reminded them that we had done Ebola-free Gambia with a hashtag. And that was very effective. I said maybe if you use the same model, we can bring Gambians together and create a powerful message that will unite Gambians. Then we played the video on my screen of Jammeh. Basically saying that, first of all, we played the video where he conceded. Then we played the video where he reneged.
Why did you decide to play those two videos?
It's psychological. I just wanted to captivate their minds. I'm actually older than everybody in that room. I just want to just captivate their minds. So I put my laptop and put it on a big screen. So that I could get their attention. I said, this is where we were. You can see it. Now this is where we are. You, all of us, you are amongst the lucky 1% of Gambians. In fact, all of you are Western educated, which makes you very privileged. Doing relatively well in life. Are we going to stand here and watch Gambia go in vain, or are we going to go on exile and live abroad? And the lady Asta was really, I would say, she was the trigger, Asta Job. Very strong about the need for action. So we ordered pizza and suya, by the way. And we decided to come up with a hashtag. The first hashtag that came up was Jammeh must go. But through our discussion, we said, no, that is too limiting. This is beyond Jammeh's goal.
Li wax ni loolu daal loolu xalaat bu gàtt la lii weesu na sax Jammeh dafa war a génn fii.
I recall that the hashtag for the election was Jammeh decides.
Ci li nga xam ne nii moo nekkoon wote bi li mu defoon mooy Jammeh decide Jammeh xalaat na.
It was started by Said Mati Jaw.
Loolu nag Said Mati Jaw moo ko xalaatoon.
So we said, oh, how about Jammeh decided?
ñu ne waaw léegi nag naka na Gambia has decided. mooy Gambia nag xalaat nañ ñoom it dogal nañ.
It was that eureka moment. I was, wow, that's good.
Ci lañ ñëpp ànd ne waaw loolu de baax na.
So I called Said Mati. I said, we don't want, he's one of our friends. He said, we are doing this and we want to use Gambia has decided, and you're using Gambia decides, just so we can synchronize.
Ci laa ko wax ne ko nag ñu ngi jëfoon nag xalaat bii.
He said, I'm on board.
Ci la ma wax ne ànd naa ci.
Right there and then,
foofu ak feneen noonu rek.
Rafia sends a WhatsApp message to his graphic designer.
Rafia Diab nag seen message ci WhatsApp bi ci ki nga xam ne nii moo ko defal nag dessin yooyu.
And came up with a simple hashtag, Gambia has decided.
Ci lañ ànd nag ak benn xalaat bu gàtt rek ne Gambia has decided.
Right there, we decided very quickly that what we need to do is we just want to push this hashtag, make it viral very quickly.
Liñ war a def rek mooy ñu gaaw siiwal ko tasaare ko.
And the way we will do it is we'll change our personal profile, all of us.
Liñ koy defee rek mooy ñu ñëpp dañoo génne suñ profile bi.
And then push it towards our networks and do nothing.
ñu dal di ko sànni rek si suñ network yi.
So we did that.
ñu def ko.
And in no time, it was like, in 1 or 2 hours, it was just beyond imagination.
Diirab ñaari waxtu mbir mi daal mel niñ ko soxlaa woon.
Of course, we also decided we had a plan where we decided that we had a multi-pronged approach. We said, okay, we will do the hashtag.
Ci jamono na am nañ xalaat yu bari ne dañoo def hashtag bi.
Then we'll print t-shirts.
ñu dal di def ay t-shirt tey ko ci.
We'll do billboards.
ñu def ay tabla.
And then we'll have a big show.
Bu ko defee nag ñu am nag show bu rëy.
One of the guys that also was part of us, is part of us, is Abdou Faye, known as Wagan.
Kenn si ñun nag nga xam ne nii mu ngi si ñun biir ñu xamee ko Abdou Faye ñu koy xamee Wagan.
Who's one of the biggest music promoters in the country.
Nga xam ne nag music promoter la ci réew mi.
And they have this thing called open mic.
Ak beneen bi ñu xamee open mic.
And we said, we're going to use open mic to get to the young people, because open mic, you're talking about 5,000 to 10,000 people in one place.
Nga xam ne nag dana te siwal nag lii ci ndaw yi nu mu gën a bare. Ci benn waxtu.
We tasked Wagan to take care of the artists, to really get the artists on board. So we had all the artists, Gambian musician artists.
Wagan nag mu Gambian musicians yëpp.
But we had to keep it discreet because it had to explode, otherwise they'll arrest us all the time.
Dañ ko def nag ab secret rek ndax boo su tàkkee rek dañu jàpp ñun ñëpp.
So that's how. So initially, when we got Alaji Manka also. Alaji Manka, we got him on board. Alaji Manka.
Alaji Manka yi tamit ci lañ ko am jamono boobu.
One of the best, if not the best, videographers in the country.
Nga xam ne ni bokk na ci ñi nga xam ne ñooy def videographer nga mun na ko lool.
At the time, he was the only one following the coalition president, taking videos and posting it when GRTS would not show.
Mooy rek kenn ki nga xam ne mu ngi topp nag président boobu time boo xamee GRTS du ko daan wone.
We approached him.
ñu jot ci moom.
He joined us.
mu ànd ak ñun.
We made that very powerful video at the beach.
ñu def nag video bu am doole boobu.
Yeah, we just sent that. I think you have the video.
Yaakaar naa yaa ngi amee video bi.
In a small room in your house, you came up with a very powerful word that effect change in this country and woke the minds of young people.
Ci benn néeg bu ndaw rek ngeen booloo fa bokk benn baat taxawal loo xam ne wécc na bu baax a baax li nga xam ne moo doon dox fii ci Gambia ak ci xeli ndaw yi.
You say we, not I.
You, as in your group.
Yes. So actually, I have a picture which I took of the group eating the pizza and soya. You can.
Did you think that, as at the point when you conceived the idea, did you think it will blow up like it did?
Bi ngeen di jox xalaat boobu di dajale seeni xalaat na fogoon ngeen ne dina amee doole comme ni mu ko amee.
Honestly, No.
Did it?
But we were driven more by our desire to do something than not to do something. So for us, it's like, I remember, because you have to remember, my wife is part of my cousin, are part of this core group.
Initially,
I tried to stop my wife from being part of it. Because I told them that when we had a second meeting, and I told them what we're doing can send us, all of us, to jail, or we can die. In fact, these were the first minutes. I can't tell that because it's history, but I'll show you. These were the first minutes we wrote as Gambia has decided.
Gambia has decided.
With our strategy as how we deploy the hashtag. And how we manage our WhatsApp groups. We even had codes so that when someone is arrested, there's a code that you'll post so that you'll disengage, so that others will not be compromised.
And
we also bought burner phones. Every day, we just bought these cheap phones. Every day we have to throw it away because it was very dangerous at the time. But one thing I must say is that those young people were all very brave. They all took a risk. And for the record, Taliban Shuda was one of them.
I
mean, when you had a second meeting, I called, he joined us.
Can you tell us about the risk that the group encountered as a result of their activism against Jammeh?
ñu mëna wax nak mbolo momu lan lañ defoon lo xamne oru dara ci ñoom jamono jo xamne ñu doon dal ci kaw Jammeh.
We went around putting up billboards.
Dañ dem di taxawal ay tabla.
And let's say Westfield, you go to Westfield, we had the soldiers right there.
Westfield,
and we are actually putting up our billboards. And when I say we, I would like to say that this small group is just started, but it was all of us because Mola Kambi was part of it here. I recall him picking up T-shirts from Gile in Bakau. In those days, if you're caught with a T-shirt, you get arrested. Many Gambians got arrested for wearing a T-shirt. But it succeeded because the young people of Gambia were the ones who made it nationwide. They're the ones who took it across the country. Because we had an event. It was called the Youth Convergence. Where all the youth leaders in the country came. And they took ownership. And took Gambia has decided to the people, to the youths. Gambia has decided to we had another huge event at the University of Gambia. Where every youth leader in this country was present. There we made solid pronouncements. Jammeh must relinquish power. At that meeting, the NIA came to that meeting. But that didn't stop the youths of Gambia. We were merely catalysts. But it's the youths of Gambia that deserve all the credit. There was a time when then at some point they started bringing down the billboards. It's a picture of this is Westfield.
The Westfield.
It's two military guys on top of an ambulance bringing down our billboards.
I saw that ambulance
And this is the time that I wrote a letter.
Bo moy jamono bi nga xamé ni bind na letter.
An open letter.
Letter bo xamné nak jëmele wuñ ko ci kenn rek.
Asking the president to stop.
Di wax na président bi mu bayyi.
Really bringing down our billboards.
Di génné suñ tabla yi.
I think I should read this letter.
Mom nak yaakaar naa joxe na letter boobu.
Just before you read the letter, prior to you writing a letter, an open letter, was the government aware of the faces behind this widespread movement?
I think they must have had a faint idea because remember we did a video. And that video, those were the people who actually essentially found that Gambia decided. That video.
This video Gambia has decided.
Was viral globally, not even in Gambia.
Video
Just before you proceed with reading the letter, I'd like the Obi-Wan to kindly play the video for us.
Balanga janga letter bi na buga Obi-Wan ñu play ñu video bi.
Sound please.
Okay, this may I? Okay, that's video.
Obi-Wan, we're not getting the sound.
We didn't have for 22 years. The first time we came back and took it to the ballot box, and Jammeh decides to take it away from us.
Obi-Wan, can you kindly restart the video?
We will continue the momentum to ensure.
Rafi Diaba owns a printing company in Gambia's capital, Banjul, and Salieu Taal is a Gambian lawyer. Together, they started the hashtag Gambia has decided, after Yahya Jammeh changed his mind and refused to accept the election results.
I have decided. I have decided.
The hashtag in this video has since gone viral. As a result, they say security forces targeted them and they were forced to flee to Senegal.
Ordinarily, our freedom should not be given to us. We should have it as a right. We didn't have for 22 years. For the first time, we came back and took it to the ballot box, and Jammeh decides to take it away from us. And we are saying no, and we will continue momentum to ensure that the will of the Gambian people as expressed in our votes is respected. And after it is respected, we also want to ensure and entrench a culture of respecting democracy in the Gambia.
The United Nations say thousands of Gambians, mostly women and children, are escaping to Senegal after mediation efforts led by West African leaders failed. In Banjul, shops are closed and security forces are deployed.
This is creating chaos. This is creating chaos in business. This is creating chaos in a lot of different sectors of society.
Adama Barrow is expected to be sworn in less than a week. ECOWAS, the West African body, says it will continue diplomatic efforts until January 19th. It's warned it will use military intervention if Jammeh refuses to let go of power. Senegal and Nigeria have their soldiers on standby. There's still a lot of uncertainty, but in less than a week, it could be the end of 22 years of Jammeh's rule. And so for the thousands of Gambians who over the years have fled to Senegal and elsewhere, there's a feeling of excitement and trepidation at the idea that if Jammeh left, they could return home and bring to an end their long exile. Military intervention or not, Diab and Taal now want to return home, to be with their people.
Gambia has decided for unity.
Those, they say, who used the ballot box to stand up to Jammeh and bring change to Gambia.
Gambia has decided.
Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Dakar.
Thank you, Obi-Wan. This video actually gave us a context as to when this Gambia has decided movement was formed.
Actually, this video was what I would say Gambia became global.
Gambia decided because
after we basically we printed more than 50,000 T-shirts.
Printé lu ëpp juróom fukki junne T-shirt.
And the bulk of that came from our pockets and from friends.
Te loolu nag dépasse bi yëpp mu ngi jóge ko ci lu bari ci ñun ak suñuy xarit.
Very genuine Gambians who just send a check or pay for it without us even knowing.
Di ay doomi Gambian yoo xam ne ni nag ñoo yónnee seen i koppar fële jóge ko bitim réew.
So when the picture I showed earlier with the billboard, I was very upset that Jammeh is bringing down billboards, because initially when he brings one billboard, we'll put up 2 or 3. So they intensified.
Ci jamono boobu nag ñoom suñ wàccee benn billboard tabla ñun ñu aj lu dem ci ñaar ba ñett mu jéggi na mu xóotal ko.
So they really became very aggressive towards us.
ñu gën a am naqare na xol ci jëmale ci suñ kaw.
And well, one of the things we did was we started making these little stickers, Gambian stickers.
Bu njëkk nag ci sticker yu ndaw yi rek lañ doore woon.
And we put it on the cars and the taxis.
ñu koy teg nag tey ci ay taxi ak yooyu ak oto yi.
Obviously they cannot stop.
Loo xam ne mënuñ koo tere.
Then I wrote this letter.
Ci laa bind letter bi.
At the time, Bala Jahumpa.
Ci jamono boo xam ne ni Bala Jahumpa.
And General Baji.
Ak General Baji.
Where they were tasked to make sure that all our billboards, everything to do with Gambian society is not seen in the Gambia. That was their assignment.
Pour gis ne daal suñ tabla yépp loo xam ne dem na mbiri Gambia society duñ ko gisati.
How did you know that they were tasked to ensure that
because the
materials bearing Gambia has decided are brought down?
Naka nga xamee ne ñoom dañ leen santoon pour ñu gis ne bépp tabla buñ bi na Gambia has decided rek wàccee nañ ko.
First of all, they were physically bringing the boards down.
Njëlbeen nag dañ daan def loolu di daane tabla yi ñëpp di ko gis.
I have videos of military people bringing videos down. I have videos of it.
Am na ay video yu bari ay ñoon ci ñoom di wàccee suñ tabla yi.
What we did was when we found them putting it down, we'll send a video or someone will get it and send it to us, and we'll post it online, and it become more viral.
Jamono boobu bu ñu leen fekkee ñu ngi wàccee tabla bi rek dañ leen ay nataal wala def ko vidéo ñu dal di ko siiwal ni àdduna yëpp di ko gis.
And that actually made them more irritated and mad.
Ci loolu nag moo leen gënoon a naqari nag gën a dof.
So they went to NRA because Rafi Diab owned all those billboards. They went to NRA.
Ci lañ dem nag NRA.
And the NRA person called Rafi.
Am ku téléphone Rafi.
And I was asking him, well, he basically told him that these guys came to me and told me that you should bring down your billboards.
Ci la kii ñëw nee na daal nit ñi dañ ñëw ci man ne daal na ngeen wàcce seen tabla yooyu.
But we actually paid for these billboards.
ñun dañ fay billboards yi tabla yi.
And under the Constitution, we have a right to express ourselves.
Ci ron luwaay réew mi am nañ ci yelleef pour wane suñ bopp.
And that's it. We said we will not bring it down. If you do it by force, fine, but we're not going to bring it down.
Ci lañ ñëw ne kanaa ngeen forcé ko ni wàccee ko seen bopp waaye ñun na duñ ko mos a génne wàccee.
And then we actually wanted to pay for ads in the papers.
Ci lañ dem na yóbbu ci
like just a simple Gambia decided
kayit yi.
Will spread on the newspapers.
Ci nga xam ne ni Gambia has decided na dana siiw si ñu kayiti xibaar yi.
And only Faroya carried it.
Waaye na Faroya rek ñoo ko nangoo na génne.
All the other newspapers did not want to carry it.
Yeneen kayiti xibaar yëpp nanguwuñ ko génne.
And a lot of people are being arrested for wearing Gambia has decided t-shirts.
Te am na ñu bari ñoo xam ne ni jàpp nañ leen ci niñ solo woon Gambia has decided t-shirt yooyu.
In fact, we had a special chat group where we'll go and support people, Aziz Bensouda and others, who were arrested or charged for wearing Gambia Society T-shirts.
Te itamit nag am nañ seen groupe boo xam ne ni ñu nit ci la ñuy dimbale ñi nga xam ne ni dañ leen jàpp ne dañ soloon T-shirt yooyu.
So at some point when the thing got so much traction,
ci biñ gisee nag yenn yi daal ëpp na.
I'm informed that a decision was taken at the State House.
Ci la gis ne daal am na dogal boo xam ne ñu ngi ko jëlee woon ca State House.
That the ringleaders of Gambia decided.
Te ñi nga xam ne ni ñoo jiite woon Gambia has decided.
Must be arrested or taken out.
Foog si rek ñu jàpp leen wala ñu génne leen fi.
I got this information from somebody who is a high-level security personnel.
Ma jot na xibaar bi ci keneen koo xam ne ni kilifa la nag ci wàlli kaaraange gi.
And I will never forget this day in my life.
Du ma mës a fàttali si suma bés.
It was 31st December.
Di fanweeri fan ak benn la woon ci weeri December.
And I remember one of my cousins, the daughter of Obi Konate, Sini Konate,
kenn si suma cousin yi di doomi Obi Konate si ni Konate
had passed away.
dal dina gaañu.
So we went to her funeral at the cemetery, Joshua.
ci lañ dem nag ci dëjam bi ci Joshua.
My way back, one of my best friends, Lamin Sedikan,
bi ma wuñeeku nag kenn suma xarit Lamin Sedikan.
he called me. He said, "Sal, I want to see you. Come, I want to see you.
ci la ma téléphoné ma Sal dama la bëgg a gis.
Somebody who needs to talk to you."
am na ku bëgg a wax ak yow.
So we drove to an apartment building around Joshua.
ci lañ dem na ci benn tabax ci Joshua.
And I stayed in my car.
ma toog si suma biir oto bi.
Went to the other car.
dem ci beneen oto bi.
Spoke to the guy.
ma wax ak kooku.
The guy was director of operations at NIA at the time.
kooku na moo nekkoon ki jiite operations NIA ci waxtu woowu.
I'm sitting in the car watching these two people speak. I don't have any idea what they were talking about.
maa ngi toog ne di leen seet ñu ngi waxtaan xam na lu ñuy waxtaan.
My friend Lamin Sedikan came to me and said, "Sal,
suma xarit Lamin Sedikan na ci la ñëw si ma ne ma Sal.
Today you have to disappear out of Gambia."
ci la ma wax ne tey nag da nga war a daw génn Gambia.
I said, "What do you mean disappear?" I mean, what?
ci laa ko wax loo miin ci loolu.
Jame, there's an order that you should be taken out, both the junglers and the NIA. You have to leave the country like today.
ci la ma wax nag ne jàmme na joxe na ndigal jongule ak NIA yëpp de tey daa war ngaa génn réew mi.
To be honest, that was the first time I was afraid.
foofu boobu mooy njëlbeen yoon boo xam ne na ragaloon naa.
That was the first time I started digesting the consequences of our actions.
ci jamono boobu nag ci laa commencé di gis nag ñun suñ jëf ji lan la jur.
So I went home.
ci laa dem sa kër ga.
And I called Rafi.
ci laa oo nag Rafi.
No, Rafi was already at my house.
Rafi mu ngi woon suma néeg booba.
I said, "Rafi, we have to leave the country."
ci laa ko ne Rafi ñun dañu war a daw génn réew mi.
And then Mustafa Njai.
gannaaw Mustafa Njai taf.
He called me to come pick up a donation for Gambia Decided.
ci la ma oo nag pour joxe man li nga xam ne mooy ndolalam ci pour Gambia has decided.
So as I was driving out of my house,
ci jamono bi moom génn na suma kër.
I saw an NIA pickup coming towards my house.
ci laa gis na benn pickup bi NIA di ñëw suma kër.
But luckily I was in somebody else's car, so they went past me without knowing it was me.
waaye nag li ma may chance maa ngi woon ci oto keneen rombante nañ te xamuñu woon ne man maa ngi fa.
When I went to TAF, I explained to him what happened.
ci la bi ma demee nag si TAF ci laa ko wax li xew.
So I know that they'll be tapping my phone, so I took TAF's phone.
ci laa jël xam nag ne danañ bugg di seet nag suma téléphone bi lu may wax ci laa jël téléphone yi TAF bi.
I called my wife.
ci la téléphone suma jabar.
I told him to pack some stuff for me.
ci la ma ko wax ne ma dajaleel yenn.
I have 2 passports.
maa ngi am ñaari passeport.
I told him my British passport, give it to the gardener.
ci laa ko wax ne ko suma passeport yi Angleterre bi jox ko suma gardener bi.
Ask him to go to Right Choice and wait there.
mu dem xaar ma Right Choice.
And my Gambian passport, my clerk, Seni, will come and pick it up.
suma passeport yi Gambia bi suma clerk bi Seni dana ko ñëw jël si.
So then I arranged to get those 2 passports picked up because I don't want to risk, in case one is caught, I'll have the other one.
jamono boobu nag naa bañ na pour ñu jàppandoor yi nga xam ne ni suñ jàppee benn bi naa am beneen bi.
And then TAF kept me in one of his apartments till nightfall.
ci la ma taf na téye ci benn këram ci ba guddi.
And my friend said he can arrange for a vehicle to take us out of the country, Rafi and I.
ci la Sedi Kan nag lijjanti oto boo xam ne dana ñu génnee man ak Rafi ci génne ci réew mi.
The threat to the group Gambia has decided.
Gambia has decided.
Was it only you and Mr. Diab that was targeted?
Nah, yo ya Diab rek lañ doon ut.
They targeted Rafi, myself, Nyang Jai, Momar Taal.
ñim tudd noonu yëpp nekk na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi leen doon roba.
And then my wife as well.
ak suma soxna si ak Asta Diop.
The entire group. So at that point in time, everybody went underground.
ci jamono boobu kenn ku nekk rek yaa ngi nëbbatu woon.
My wife moved from my house.
suma jabar nag ci la génnee suma néeg.
Living in an undisclosed address.
mu dem nag ci place boo xam ne kenn xamul ko.
But they were still. So the young guys would come in taxis and pick up the T-shirts. So we couldn't go out anymore. But the young people of Gambia would come and pick up T-shirts and distribute it.
jamono boobu nag mënuñoo na génn waaye nag ndaw yi Gambia yi danañ ñëw jël T-shirt yi dal di ko dem
we were targeted. So we take people like Babukar Nyang and others would come and arrange pick T-shirts and pick it up.
Ku melni ki Baboucar Ñangin dañuy ñëw ak ñeneen jël di jël tiisa di dem séddale ji ko.
I mean, so we left the country, and those in the Gambia were at great risk.
ñun nag ñu génn Gambia waaye ñeneen ñi fi desoon nag.
So that kind of like sort of dampen things a little bit.
Loolu nag mu ngi mel ni rek mu ngi ci wàll nag yenn ci.
So Rafi and I decided that we cannot be quiet if we've gone too far.
Rafi ak man nag ñu mënuñoo suñ noppee lu yàgg.
You have to remember, we are not activists. We just happen to find ourselves in this situation. We've never done activism before.
Nekkuñ nag ay activists.
So when we went to Dakar, Fatou Senghor.
bi ñu àggee Dakar nag Fatou Senghor.
Article 19.
Bu Article 19.
And Aisha Dabo.
Ak Aisha Dabo.
Very great Gambian women.
Di ay jigéen yu am doole.
They gave us a lot of support.
ñoom la defal nañu ay ndimbal yu takku.
I always say that they're the ones who actually made me into an activist. So they gave me a crash course, I would say.
ñoom nag daanaka daan ñoo ma xiirtal ba ma nekk ab activist.
They sat me down, and every day I would go to the office of Fatou. We'll have a program. He'll arrange for me to talk to the media, do interviews.
Saay bu nekk rek danaa dem si office Fatou Jagne mu jagleel ma way taskati xibaar ñu waxtaan.
Barrow, the bâtonnier of Senegal, with Aliou Tine, Yanemar. So he got all these people to really help build us up.
ñim tudd noonu yëpp ñu fexeel mu boole ñoom ñun bañ taxawal ñu.
Even that Nicolas Cage interview on Al Jazeera, they did a special documentary on us, was through her.
Bu documentary bu Nicolas Cage bi ci Al Jazeera boobu tamit.
So we were
ci moom la jaare.
We were on international global TV, Deutsche Welle, BBC. So that kind of helped elevate, even though our people could not speak in Gambia, we now have a global platform. Our voice was global. And that was very, very powerful.
suñ kàddu nag nekkoon na loo xam ne si woon na si àdduna bi te loolu amoon na doole.
And then also, our guys were staff resources. So with Dakar, we would actually smuggle T-shirts. That picture you saw, we printed T-shirts in Dakar and smuggled them to Gambia.
nataal boobu nga gis nag dañ defaree ay T-shirt ca Dakar daal di ko yoole dugal ko fii biir réewi Gambia.
And we were smuggling posters.
te ñu ngi doon yoole ay posters si tamit.
People like Banky Gray Johnson and others, we were sending money for them to buy spray paint to spray the walls Gambians decided.
Ki mel ni ki mu tudd noonu dañ daan yónnee xaalis pour ñu jënd spray pen.
So beautiful that, many people were, this was like everybody's movement.
Li nag mu ngi mujjee daal mel ni mbootaay ñëpp la woon.
It took a life of its own.
Let's talk about the press or the open letter made to the president. If you can kindly read through the letter.
Okay, this context. This letter was written after Jammeh started pulling down the billboards of Gambians Decided. And
letter boobu nag ñu ngi ko bind mooy jamono bi nga xamee ne ni Jammeh mu ngi commencé nag di wàccee tablay Gambia has decided.
So this letter was written.
Letter boobu nag ci lañ ko bind.
As a statement, rather.
Comme ni ay kàddu yu wér.
And it reads.
Ni lañ ko jàngee.
Gambia has decided.
Gambia nag dal dinañu dogal.
It's a civil society initiative based in the Gambia.
Nekk na nag genn mbootaay goo xam ne mu ngi dox fii ci réewi Gambia.
Born out of the need and urgency to restore our democracy.
Mu nga xam ne mu ngi sosoo nag ci éena gi nga xam ne am nañ ko pour dal di doxalaat suñ démocratie.
After the decision of the outgoing President Jammeh.
Gannaaw boo xamee ni dogali kii nga xam ne ni mooy président bi tàggatoo jamono ji di Yaya Jammeh.
Purportedly annulling the elections and challenging the same at the Supreme Court of the Gambia.
Xelaati boppam nag fexe ngir dàq nag li nga xam ne ni moo fa xeekoo ci wote bi.
We are a non-violent.
ñu nag nekk nañ mbootaay goo xam ne ni xeñtuwuñ fitna.
And peaceful group.
Tey tamit nañ mbootaay guy dox jàmm lañ.
Exercising our constitutional right of freedom of speech.
Di yëngatu nag ci li nga xam ne ni mooy wane suñ yelleef ci dëppoo luwaay réew mi.
And freedom to associate.
Ak tamit nag nekk ci sago soo xam ne ni danañ booloo wax kàddu.
We are abhorred by the actions and efforts.
Dal dinañu am métti nag ci pas-pas ak jéego yi ñu jël.
by security personnel and some executive officers, particularly Mr. Bala Jahumpa,
ñi nga xam ne ñoo yëngu ci kaaraange gi ak ñoo xam ne ni ay nit ñi ci réew rawatina nag Bala Gaba Jahumpa
in trying to silence our voices,
pour fexe nag ngir suul nag suñuy kàddo
the voice of the Gambian people who voted for change.
di kàddo yi doomi Gambien yi nga xam ne ni wote nañ pour ñu indi wecceeku.
Our billboards have been destroyed by security personnel in uniform.
Suñ tabla yi nag yàq na ko nag di ñuy yëngu ci wàlli kaaraange te tamit di sol uniforme.
And we are aware of the steps being taken to stop our campaign.
te tamit nag yëg nañ jéego yi nga xam ne ni jël nañ ko ngir tere suñ campagne.
It is ironic that the executive, with the monopoly of power,
doy na waar lool ci nga xam ne nii nag ñi nga xam ne ñooy executive yi jiite nguur gi di ci seen nguur.
and security is using the same apparatus
ak ay ñi yëngu ci wàlli kaaraange ñoom ñu ngi jëfoo benn bunta bi.
to destroy private property to silence our voices.
di yàq nag ay jumtuwaay nit ñoo xam ne nii ñoo ko moomal seen bopp ngir rek selewal suñu kàddu.
We heard the outgoing president complain about the vandalization of APRC posters.
dégg nañ nag ki nga xam ne nii mooy président yi tàggoo bi ne mu ngi tawat ne am na ñoo xam ne ñu ngi yàq nag tablaay APRC yi.
And we did not condone the destruction of any APRC property.
te tamit nag ba ñu tamit li nga xam ne nii mooy yàq nag tablaay APRC yi wala seen i jëfandaay.
In the same vein,
ci kaw loolu tamit.
we expect that our property is protected as citizens of the Gambia.
suñuy mbir nag moom it dañ ko aar comme ni ñun ay doomi réew mi lañ.
And our constitutional rights respected.
tey tamit ñu cëral nag suñu yelleefi ak luwaay réew mi.
As an initiative established for the promotion of democracy,
ci li nga xam ne nii mooy buntu bu njëkk ci li siiwal nag lu jëm ci wàllu taxawaay démocratie.
we believe in the coexistence of diverse political views and ideologies.
gëm nañ nag li nga xam ne ni mu ngi jëm ci wàlli seqatoo gi nga xam ne def nañ ko ci wàlli démocratie ci mbiri politique.
We believe in a democratic space where violence and force have no place other than protecting its citizenry.
ñu gëm tamit nekk ne ci loo xam ne mu ngi dëppoo démocratie nga xam ne ni fitna amul fa place te lépp mu ngi jubluwaay bi mooy rek ngir aar nag citoyen yi dëkkee ci réew mi.
We urge the outgoing President Jammeh as Commander-in-Chief
ñu ngi sàkku nag ci président bi nga xam ne mooy tàggatoo te tamit mooy Commander-in-Chief
to advise his security men
mu yedda nag ñi nga xam ne ñoo yëngu ci wàlli kaaraange
to desist from destroying or removing our billboards and banners.
ñu bàyyi nag di yàq suñ billboards ak tamit di leen wàccee ak suñ banners yi.
Our actions are for the preservation of democracy,
suñ jéego yooyu day dañ ko def rek ngir dundal nag démocratie.
which is the only way to ensure peace and stability.
ñu nga xam ne moom rek mooy saawo si nga xam ne ni moom lañu def ngir wane dëggal nag jàmm.
In our motherland.
ci suñ réew.
For the Gambia, our homeland.
Gambia di suñ réew.
Signed.
signé ko nag di.
Salieu Taal.
Salieu Taal.
Hashtag Gambia has decided.
The Gambia has decided.
CC copied.
Copy ko nag sottandeku ko.
Chief of Staff Gambia Armed Forces.
jox ko nag Chief of Staff Gambia Armed Forces.
Minister of Justice.
ministre bi saytu wàlli loi ak àtte ci réew mi.
Minister of Interior.
ministre bi saytu wàlli kaaraange bi réew mi.
President Gambia Bar Association.
ki nga xam ne mooy président Gambia Bar Association mbootaay looyaa yi.
Inspector General of Police.
ak ki jiite police yi réew mi.
Gambia National Authority.
ak buntu liggéeykaay bi saytu wàlli yoon yi ak kàddoog ndigal li ci aju.
By endorsing that letter, you put yourself under the radar of the government of Yahya Jammeh at that time.
Yes.
bi nga binda nag wane ne bokk nga ci leetar boobu mu ngi mel ni yaa ngi dugal sa bopp ci mbaali Yahya Jammeh.
When we crafted, I mean, the beauty about Gambia decided is like we're a team. When we write something, we put it on Dropbox and collaborate.
li gën a rafet nag si Gambia has decided mooy ñun ak kuréeli boppam lañ te tamit nag dañ ci seqatoo.
And every single word is well thought out.
te baat bu nekk rek dal dinañu ko jàngat bu wér.
From the onset, our strategy was to inspire.
ca ndoorteel nag suñu xalaat moo doon nag ngir ñu dal di xirtal.
And there's a language that you need to use when you want to inspire.
te tamit nag loolu nag mooy kàddu yi nga xam ne moom ngay jëfoo bu fekkee yaa ngi bugg a xirt.
So even in as much as we didn't think much we didn't think highly of the ex-president.
bu fekkee tamit xalaatuñ nag lu gën a koy nag ci président bi.
We never for once
mosuñu am bés.
insulted him.
Saaga ko.
We never for once
mosuñu am bés.
use foul words in our campaign.
di wax ay kàddu yu xaste ci suñ campagne.
Our narrative was a narrative of hope and inspiration.
suñ wax nag moom mu ngi jubluwaay bi rek moo nekkoon yaakaar ak itamit luy xirtal nit ñi.
We saw the glass as half full.
gis nañ ne daal feesu toon sax mooy kaas bi.
We thought we want to shift the Gambian mind from we're in a problem to we're going somewhere.
ñu ngi doon wan nit ñi Gambian people nit ñi rek ni daal ñu ngi jóge ko fenn te ñu ngaa jëm feneen.
And it was all about and it was very important for everyone because for us we had to do it peacefully.
léegi amoon na solo pour ñëpp ndax lii dañ ko waroon a def si anam goo xam ne ni anam gu dal te ànd ak jàmm la.
So when this was drafted I volunteered to sign it.
lii nag biñ ko génnee man maa wàkkilu nag signé ko.
I mean, at that point in time, I really, whatever happened.
ci jamono boobu nag daal xalaat bi rek moo nekkoon lu xew rek na xew.
I mean, I knew that I was taking a risk.
xamoon naa ne maa ngi doon jaay bakkan.
I mean, I took a few precautions because I had installed CCTV in my house.
waaye nag jëloon naa ay jéegu motowaay yu ma aar jëloon naa nataal vidéo yi di seet ci biti.
I rented a very cheap car to move around.
maa ngi luyaasoon nag oto bu neex njëg daal bu yomb rek. pour di génn.
Every time I go home, I'll find a white pickup parked around. I mean, I was in my environment. Every time I get home, before I park, I would look, before I get into my gate.
bala waxtu bu ma àggaan balaa maay dugg suma kër dinaa daan seet wàll boor yooyu yëpp.
Frankly, I expected anything could have happened to me.
séntu woon naa daal ne lu ne daal mënoon na maa dal.
But at that point, I don't know. I mean, there's something in me that I wasn't afraid.
am na loo xam ne daal nekkoon na ci man ragaluma woon daal jamono boobu.
I mean, when I think about it, I thought, wow, maybe I was on a suicide mission.
su ma ko xalaatee damay xalaat ne man daal damay xaru.
I remember my late father.
maa ngi fàttaliku suma papa jiitu.
And got his friends and others. They tried to, because I knew that if I told my dad I was going to do this, he would never let me do it.
ndax xamoon naa jamono boobu su ma waxoon suma papa ne ko lii laay def du ma nangu ma def ko.
My family members, no one, they just saw it explode like everybody else.
suma mbokk yi tamit dañ gis mbir mi rek mu rek génn xamuñu woon ko.
And they would advise me, warn me. I said, well, thank you for your.
dañ ma daan yedd dénku may tamit.
It has to be done.
jërëjëf rek waaye nag lu ñu war a def la.
And I remember one of my uncles. He was like, you're a businessman, blah blah blah. I said, were you not a member of Ken Street Vu?
ci laa ko wax nag suma benn oncle nekkoon ndax nekkoon Ken Street Vu li ci yow laa ko jotee.
So let me do my part.
And thank you very much. Mr. Chair, at this point, I'd like to put in the exhibits. The Amnesty International public statement, where the case involving Ami Bensouda was cited as Exhibit 217K.
We are admitting or granting your request to put these in, but the commissioners would have wanted to see the exhibits as they were being given to you. We don't have the time now, I guess, but maybe you can pass some around.
We had made reference to the exhibits during his testimony yesterday.
No, those ones here yesterday, but
yes.
The ones that came in today.
Oh, my apologies, my apologies.
And the reports that were given to you, we hadn't seen any of those at all.
My apologies,
so
Mr.
Chair. Go ahead and then grant that, but maybe we can just have a glance at them as you submit them for inclusion.
My apologies, Mr. Chair.
No problem at all. Just go.
The Amnesty International public statement will be 217. That's from yesterday.
Yes.
The apology letter written by Lamin.
217K.
217K.
Yeah.
The apology letter written by Lamin Kebambouch, dated the 25th of August 2015, will be 217L. the disciplinary proceedings against Mr. Christopher E. Mene and others will be 217M, and the petition by the bar, which made reference to yesterday as well, will be 217N. For the exhibits tendered today, the photograph of the Gambia Bar Association members will be 2170. The photograph of the Youth Convergence will be exhibit 217Q. And a photograph of
What about P?
P will be the photograph of the Youth Convergence. And Q will be the photograph of military officers bringing down Gambia has decided posters.
Yeah. All requests are granted, Council.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
That will be all from me for the witness today, Mr. Chair. I'll hand over the witness to
Thank you so
now.
much, Council, and thank you, Mr. Taal, for coming to testify. You're a very brave man. You guys had gone through a lot of stuff, especially concerning the transition period that you had gone through. I can assure you that outsiders did not leave you alone. They were involved in almost on a daily basis in New York and Geneva with chambers in Dakar. It was a daily engagement on the part of many conference calls, Security Council as well. You were very brave here. Congratulations. I don't have any questions. Commissioner Kerr, you have the floor, please.
My apologies, Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. I have two, three things. Council, what did you say? And then
just before Commissioner Kerr comes in, I just missed out a document, and that's the dossier prepared by the bar for the minister in Nigeria to prevent the judges from coming in to listen to the petition by the APRC, and that will be 217. If I may get the last letter.
Q.
Yes.
Q as in Queen.
That will be Ara. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
What about the video?
The video will be S. S.
C'est tout?
Pas encore.
Pas encore. Bon, d'accord. Oh, sorry. Hello. Go ahead, witness.
I have two more documents, I think. One of them is in December 13, we requested for Fagbele to resign, CJ Fagbele. And the bar resolution we passed that led to the statement.
Mr. Chair, the resolution of the bar with respect to issuing a statement and also calling for the resignation, a statement nullifying the presidential election, a statement condemning the outgoing president's denial of the elections, and also calling for the resignation of the Chief Justice, Justice Fagbele, will be Exhibit 217T.
So all these points you mentioned are all in a single document?
Yes, the resolution, let me read it out. The first resolution is that the Bar Association issues a press statement condemning in unequivocal terms the statement made by the outgoing president on the 9th of December 2016 nullifying the elections.
Yeah.
That's the first one. And the second one is the Bar issuing a statement to the effect that the outgoing president cannot legitimately appoint or swear in Supreme Court judges. The third point is that the Bar calls for the resignation of the Chief Justice as by his conduct during the presidential campaign. The fourth one is that the incumbent president hand over power to President-elect Adama Barrow. And the fifth one, the fifth resolution is that there should be immediate boycott of all courts until further notice from the executive. That's the resolution prepared by the Gambia Bar Association on the 12th of December 2016.
When you say the fifth resolution, are they resolutions or they items under the chapeau?
They are items on the resolution.
On the chapeau of
yes.
resolution. Yeah, splendid. Okay, thank you. Then that's with 217T as in
yes.
town.
And a letter to the Honorable, the Chief Justice, Fagbele, dated the 13th of December 2016, calling for his resignation by the Gambia Bar Association. And that will be Exhibit 217.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor, I'll just repeat that all requests are granted. Don't take me through the different letters of that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. While we're doing that, any other submission, witness or counsel before I give the floor back to Commissioner Kerr? There is another procedural matter. You may please raise that now. Is it with you, witness? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, no, marvelous. Counsel?
That will be all from me, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Commissioner Kerr, you may please continue.
Thank you, Chairman.
Chairman.
And thank you, Mr. Taal, my very own brother.
Mr. Taal,
I've known you for a long time, and you've done a wonderful job with our young people. A lot of the names you've mentioned are familiar to me because they are also friends. From our family. And I want to congratulate you for all the brilliant work that you have done as a group. Several points stood out to me in your presentation. Of course, as a young person, I think the most obvious is the role that you have highlighted, that young people in this country played towards ensuring that the will of the Gambian people was recognized. But I'm sure it didn't start there. Because they were once described as the foot soldiers of the coalition. My concern is, unfortunately, in the discussions of the unfortunate human rights violations that happened over the 22 years of Jammeh's regime, what is often said is that Jammeh himself was a young person. And a lot of these problems were attributed to young people. Your presentation today somehow vindicates young people. We were at the forefront. And we paid a great price for that. And I know for sure when you are in exile in Dakar, you are also there with a lot of young people. But again, now this brings me to my question. And I'll be asking you two questions. The first is on the political participation of young people. We do have a campaign here in the commission called the Never Again campaign. And part of that is to encourage young people to have a broader participation in the political process of this country. Since we are about 68% of the population. What would be your advice to this commission on how we can encourage young people? How they can be active participants in this political process, not just as voters, but also as candidates, and also in the broader spectrum of the political dimension of this country. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother, Commissioner Kerr.
Commissioner Kerr.
That is a very brilliant question. And it's a topic very close to my heart. The older people have wisdom. The younger people have dynamism. And the two together, I think it's the magic formula. I mean, I am older. I mean, I'm close to 50. And the greatest inspiration I have, since I've been back in the Gambia, has been working with young people. And if we are serious about developing this country, we must genuinely build the capacity of young people and then empower them. Because without capacity and knowledge, you cannot be properly empowered. And in my dealings with the young people, I find a lot of passion, zeal and drive. But it takes a lot more than that. And one of the ways I believe that we can increase the political participation of the young people
li soobuteeg ndaw ñi ci wàlli politique.
Is to identify champions, leaders.
nañu ràññee ay ndaw ay njiit yoo xam ne ñu wér lañ.
Build their capacity.
ñu yokk leen xam-xam.
Expose them.
dal di leen feeñal.
Then give them the power.
dal di leen dooleel.
I was part of Not Too Young to Run campaign.
maa ngi woon ci campagne bu doon wane tamit ne daal nekkul lu ndaw pour nga campagne.
I mean, I work very closely with Sam Itodo of Nigeria who started this.
dal di woon naa doon jokkonteeg Sam Itodo bu Nigeria mi ko commencé woon.
I was very integral in that campaign in Gambia.
te tamit nag xóotoon naa nag ci campagne googu fii ci Gambia.
And I think through that campaign we got about 5 MPs.
te tamit ci wàlli campagne boobu am nañ ci dem ci juróomi député.
And I think we can take it further.
te yaakaar naa mën nañooy gën a yaatal loolu.
It's not only about getting your MPs.
du rek pour am sa député yi.
We need to move beyond the tokenism.
war nañooy weesu nag njottal loolu.
Beyond the rhetoric.
waaw.
You need to bring young people who will make a difference.
indi ay ndaw yoo xam ne ni danañ indi wecceeku.
Young people who don't just tick the box.
ñoo xam ne ni duñ
every political party has their young person, you tick the box.
waaye nag am na ndaw yoo xam ne parti politique bu nekk rek waaye ñu gàddu kees gi rek.
You need to bring young people who are selfless.
foog si rek ñu indi ndaw yoo xam ne nii.
Dedicated.
am nañu ina.
Grounded.
ñoo xam ne nii wér nañ.
Knowledgeable.
am nañ xam-xam.
Disciplined.
te am nañu yar.
This takes time.
dana jël waxtu.
It has to be nurtured.
foog si rek ñu suuxat ko.
I mean, for the last 4 years, I spent a lot of my time working with young people.
ci diiram ñeenti at ci gannaaw jël naa waxtu bu yaatu nag di liggéey ak ndaw ñi.
During the constitutional building process,
ci jamono bi nga xamee
I taught the country with the young people on the activist, the constitution we want campaign. And I've seen that there are brilliant young minds in Gambia. They just need to be mentored.
am na ndaw ñoo xam ne ni ndaw ñu am xel lañ te li ñu aajoo rek mooy ku leen suuxat.
With all due respect,
ak cër yi yëpp de.
our education system in the Gambia leaves a lot to be desired.
suñ bunti njàng mi de am na lu bari loo xam ne ni.
who graduate.
ñu gis ay ñoo xam ne ni jeexal nañ
degree.
am nañ degree.
even become lawyers.
ñëw nekk lawyer.
but even English language.
waaye nag làkk anglais bi sax.
is a problem.
dana jafe.
so I always tell the young people that.
de wax ndaw yi rek ne.
I don't believe anybody is entitled to lead.
nekkul kenn ku nekk daal yelloo na pour mu jiite.
You have to earn it.
foog si rek nga nekk koo xam ne da
not because you're young.
nekkul ne da ngaa ndaw nekk ndaw.
you're young and brilliant and selfless and have the qualities.
waaye nag nekk nga ndaw boo xam ne nii am nga xalaat
and the young people I mentor, that's what I instill in them.
te ndaw yi nga xam ne nii nag daal dinaa leen yar loolu laa dugal seen
bopp. You're not going to lead just because you're young.
nekkul rek ne da nga ndaw.
What is special about you as a young person?
lan nga xam ne moom nga gis yow
motivate other young people.
lu feeñ te loo xam ne da nga mën a xeetal.
In other words, we must build a meritocratic system where the best and the brightest are allowed to flourish.
ñi nga xam ne nag ñoom ñooy jiitu te tamit ñoo gën a leer.
Of course, without leaving behind others. But I think in any society that has to move, you must celebrate excellence. So this is one. I think the TRRC. I mean, you have a lot of brilliant young people here.
TRRC.
Most of them I've known them through our different engagements.
If you
take these young people, give them fellowships, let them go to Harvard. Let them go to Cambridge. Let them go to NR. Open their minds. Let them see the world. Let them interact with young people globally. I spent quite a bit of my time traveling because of government side. I've been to great centers of learning. I've met the greatest minds in Africa, young minds, and I know their standards. But we need to expose our young people more, build their capacity more. Even if you have 10, you take 10, you expose 10. And that's the way you will build, so that now we start with, rather than accepting mediocrity, we build standards. It's very important. That's the only way we'll have real power. Otherwise, we'll just be tokens or clients of political parties. I don't know whether I've answered your question.
Thank you. You've definitely answered my question. And the second You have partly answered two.
Jërëjëf tontu nga suma laajte ñaareel laajte bi ma bëggoon a laajte sax tontu nga ci.
And that is youths getting involved, not just for the sake of it.
Mooy ne ndaw yi ñu bëgg ci nekkul ne rek dañ ci bëgg a dugg rek.
But also to improve their plight and the plight of the country.
Waaye nag ñu indi yokkute ci li nga xam ne mooy seen bopp ak bu réew mi.
I'm sure there are a lot of young people who may think that the change that they fought for in terms of bringing opportunities.
Xam naa ne am na ndaw yoo xam ne wécceeku bi nga xam ne moom lañ xeex.
In terms of bringing opportunities.
Ak pour indi ay bunta yu yaatu yu ubbeeku.
So far hasn't been met. So what I want to ask you is, how can we ensure
naka la ñoo fexee ba gis ne
we bring these opportunities to young people?
bunta yi ubbeeku ne ñu indil ko ndaw yi.
I'm sure you have spoken about building their capacities.
Am naa wax nga nag ñu yokk seen xam-xam.
I'm sure it takes more than that. But how do you think we can also ensure that the plight of the young people is improved through the voting process?
Waaye foog naa ne weesu na lool de loo foog ne ndax noonu la ñoo mën a yokkee xam-xami ndaw yi lu aju nag ci wàlli oote.
I mean, I think you guys, young people say, if it's not by the youth, it's not for the youth, right? That's your slogan. So when they're making the menu, serve you the food, you should be at the table. And I mean, I go back to capacity, for example. For example, you should have more youths at the National Assembly. The laws are made. You should have more youth councillors, not only the youth rep. You should have more youth councillors. You should have more youth mayors and chairpersons. And you should also be a more cohesive, strong group. I work with the majority of young groups in Gambia. I know most of them. And many of them are working in silos on the same thematic area. Let's say if you have gender, you'll have the older generation working on gender, the younger generation working gender, and they're usually at loggerheads. And gender is an intergenerational issue. So there needs to be more synergy. You have 5-6 groups working on peace building, doing the same thing with limited resources. So the moral of the story is, I think your leverage is being strong together. Because at the end of the day, I mean, if the youths are strong, no government can afford not to listen to you. If you are 68% of the population, and you are strategic enough, and united enough, I think no government, no political party can ignore you. So you must be, because what has happened is, post-2017, the political parties systematically divided us. They split us into, we were one group, your youths, and now is the youths of this party, the youth of that party. We are in the same group, Democratic Gambia, we're in that same group, right? You can see the conversation that happens in that group. You are in that group. Democratic Gambia is the biggest WhatsApp group of the most influential youths in the Gambia from all political parties, groups, tribes. Very interesting group. I'm one of the elders in that group. Yeah. So, and in that group, I mean, the discussion is always about this party or that party or this party. And I always remind them, I thought that this group was set up initially to help Aisha Toure. I remember, right? And now, after that, we discussed issues of youth. But now, we don't discuss democracy. We discuss which party is better than the others, which party has a bigger crowd than the others. I mean, I've been in this group for 3 years now. That's what I see. And I always try to remind the young people, but at the end of the day, we can only try to encourage you, but you must take ownership and leadership and show that you're serious about where this country is going. You're entitled to have a political party, but your country is bigger than your party. Your country is bigger than your tribe. But we are all fixated by where we're from, what party we support, as if you're choosing your country as a football team, Manchester United versus Arsenal. So we must transcend that kind of thinking, and it takes time. And I think I'm sorry, I think we have a long way to go. Because
well done once again.
jërëjëf maa ngi laa gën a xiirtal na nga jàppale ndaw yi xam naa ne di nga jàppale ndaw yi bu baax ak ñi mel ni yow tamit.
Thank you. Deputy Chair, followed by Commissioner Kinte, followed by Bishop and Imam Jallo. In that order. Deputy Chair, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mariama. Thank you, sir.
jërëjëf Chair, jërëjëf Mariama, jërëjëf Sal.
The last part of your, I cannot say testimony, but what really statement made me really emotional.
Sa kàddu yu mujj yi nga xam ne moom nga fi gaaral nii dafa daw suma yaram.
I was really moved by the efforts that the young people of this country made to bring about significant changes.
Suma yaram dafa daw ci taxawaay bi nga xam ne ay ndaw booloo nañ seen boppa pour indi wecceeku bu am solo bii ci biir réew mi.
And I hope that what they did then, they can still use and maintain to take this country to the level that we want it to reach.
jamono jooju li ngeen booloo woon ba def ko wax naa mun nañoo sukkandiku waat ci loolu ba mun a yóbbu réew mi fa nga xam ne foofa lañ ko soxla.
Now coming to the first part of your testimony,
kàddu yi nga fi gaaral nag ca Nortega.
You described in detail how lawyers were selective about the type of cases they took.
wax nga fi lawyer yi ni nga xam ne noonu lañ doon tànnee façon case yi nga xam ne moom la ñoo war a mun a jël.
How they scrutinized their communications to make sure that the language was in line with what the executive wanted to hear.
ak ni nga xam ne noonu la ñoo seggee tànn bu baax a baax baat yi nga xam ne moom la ñoo war a sukkandiku te njiit li moom muy baat yoo xam ne moom la bëgg a dégg.
And I just wanted to ask, do lawyers practice self-censorship? I know journalists do, the media do, but seeing that I'm not very legal, I wanted to know whether legal people do practice, lawyers do practice self-censorship. That's the question.
xam naa ne waytaskati xibaar de dañ ko dee def de waaye li ma bëgg a xam mooy ndax lawyer yi ñoom tamit li ñoo def dañ ci dee seggaat seen boppa bu baax a baax.
Thank you, Auntie Adelaide.
Jërëjëf Auntie Adelaide.
That's a very good and apt question.
Laajte bu am solo la.
I mean, yes, surely lawyers do practice self-censorship and do exercise self-restraint.
Lawyer dinañ dee jox nag seggatif ni nga xam ne noonu la ñooy doxalee seen liggéey.
I mean, during the 22 years, I mean, lawyers had, well, many lawyers were very tactful in the way they communicated
lawyer nag dañ daan sell lool ci ni nga xam ne noonu lañ daan jokkooyee
for the fear of reprisals.
Ci njaxare noteel googu nga xam ne mën naa am.
And sometimes they would use flattering language.
Léegoo-léeg nag dañ dee jëfoo ay yeneen kàddu.
If you look at some of the letters I even tendered.
Soo gisee ci leetar yi ma bind sax de.
When we're addressing Babili Mansa, how the wording is it's like a love story or a poem.
Soo gisee ni nga xam ne noonu lañ daan waxee Yaya Jammeh dafa mel ni rek ku koy bakk.
Which is rather unfortunate.
Tey nga xam ne daal nekk na ak mbetteel.
Regrettable.
Ci lii.
But it was that time when many people, including lawyers, were not bold enough to offend Yaya Jammeh in general.
Tey tamit mooy jamono bi nga xam ne ñun lawyer yi ñeme wu ñoon pour nag tapas Yaya Jammeh.
Ordinarily.
Ndek loolu nag.
Lawyers.
Lawyer yi.
And the journalists, the Fourth Estate.
Ak waytaskati xibaar yi.
Are two groups that should not self-censor.
Nekk na ñaari groupe yoo xam ne ni daal duñ daan seggati seen bopp.
These are two groups of professionals who should actually give the voice to the voiceless.
Ñi na ñooy ñi nga xam ne nii ñooy ñaari groupe yi nga xam ne ñooy jox kàddu ñi nga xam ne nii dañ ñàkk kàddu.
But this is why dictatorships, these are the first two groups that they attack.
Lii moo tax nag nguur ak jaay doole ñaari buntu yooyu la ñuy njëkk a song.
And I trust and I hope we have learned from it.
Tey tamit am naa yaakaar ne daal jànge nañu ci.
Even now, as Bar President, I do get sometimes people tell me, "Oh, you're too political."
ba léegi sax nga xam ne nii man maay président yi mbootaay lawyer yi ba léegi dañ ma dee wax ne
sometimes
da nga xóot ci politique.
Senior colleagues.
Léegoo léegi nag ay kilifa sax.
I remember when the president unlawfully terminated Yakuba Jaite.
maa ngi fàttaliku jamono bi nga xamee ni président bi dal dina dàq Yakuba Jaite ci loo xam ne dëpput ak yoon.
And I wrote a letter.
ma bind letter.
Published.
àggale ko.
Stating that clearly that was unconstitutional.
di wane nag ni mu gën a leer ne loolu daal dëpput ak yoon.
I mean, the bar wasn't united behind me.
kuréeli lawyer yi yëpp ñu ngi woon suma gannaaw.
Some of them thought I was I'm political.
ñenn ñi foo indi sax dama political.
And this is my answer to them.
lii moo doon suma tontu.
I said, get used to it.
ni miin nañ ko.
Because law is political.
ne loi moom dafa ànd ak politique.
But I'm not partisan.
nekkuma nag koo xam ne dama parparloo.
Anything that affects the life of the population, the citizen,
loo xam ne nag gàllankoor na nag dundini nit ñi fii dafa ànd ak politique.
Economics is political.
koom-koom gi dafa politique.
So anything that touches the constitution or rights.
loo xam ne dafa laal bunti loi bi ak yelleef yi.
As bar president.
nga xam ne maa jiite mbootaay lawyer yi.
Our position will be known.
suñ taxawaay nag dañ ko xam.
Whether people are happy about it or not.
ndax nag nit ñi kontaan nañ wala déet.
That is a list of my considerations.
lii nag moo nekk nag li nga xam ne bàyyee nañ ko xel.
As long as my conscience is clear.
ndegem nag suma xalaat moom leer na.
And my only motivation is to speak truth to power.
te su nga xam ne ni suma motivé moo nekkoon pour wax dëgg bi.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Kinte. You have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Jërëjëf Chairman.
Thank you, Salieu Taal.
Jërëjëf Salieu Taal.
For your very, very brilliant and useful deliberations.
Kàddu yu am solo yi nga xam ne gaaral nga ko fii nii.
It has always been nightmare for me.
Saa yu nekk daal daf daan nekk di tiitaange ci man.
The achievement of our this noble slogan, never again.
Ndax dinañ mun a am li nga xam ne mooy suñ kàddu gi ñoo wax ne never again.
Sometimes when we want to look at it and say which group or which issue or which strategy is most critical.
léegi-léegi buñ ko seetloo na pour a wax ne ban mbootaay wala ban yoon la ñoo mun a jaar bu ci gën a am solo.
We get mesmerized.
dañoo xaw a jaxasoo.
Why I think in my view.
waaye man nag ci suma gis-gis.
The most critical issues.
mbir mi nga xam ne moo ci gën a am solo.
And the most critical mass.
ak leneen li nga xam ne mbooloo la bu gën a am solo.
It's not been actually diagnosed and appreciated.
feeñal luñ ko nag lool para ñu nangu ko.
The colonial power.
ñi nga xam ne mooy woon nguuri tubaab ya.
Who controlled our everything, including our minds.
nga xam ne ñoom lépp luñ daan doxee suñu xel mi sax ñoom ñoo ci tegoon seen loxo.
Only prepared us as service providers.
ñoom dañ ñu waajal rek pour ñu leen a liggéeyal.
And so we will be teachers, lawyers, and name them.
nga xam ne dañoo nekk ay jàngalekat nekk ay lawyer ak yeneen a yeneen.
But they have not instilled in us, probably through our educational curricula and so on.
waaye dugal luñ nag ci suñ bopp anam yi nga xam ne foofu lañ ñoo jàngee.
That we have the self-confidence.
ne dinañ am óolute ci suñ bopp.
And we will have the skills.
te dinañ am xam-xami métier.
And thus we will be resourceful.
te dinañ am njëriñ.
Even without anyone.
fekk sax ne keneen duñu jàppale.
If that mentality has been naturalized in our systems,
su fekkoon ne façon xelaat boobu duggal nañ ko ci suñ wàlli doxalin.
a lot of the problems we are encountering will not encounter.
façon jafe-jafe yi ñoo jànkuwante ni yëpp ni koon du am.
And in most common than not,
te ni mu gën a farloo nag.
we focus on opportunities.
dañ dee bugg a sukkandiku rek ci loo xam ne suñu bugga la.
And not the realities.
te duñ dee seet li nga xam ne mooy dëgg bi.
Imagine how many of us have completed school and are good poultry managers.
seetal ñun ñaata ñoo jeexal school nekk ñoo xam ne ay yarkati ganaar lañ.
How many of us have completed school and can be good engineers?
ñun ñaata ñoo jeexal school war a nekk engineer yu baax.
Now, if we are lacking all that,
su fekkee ne lii yëpp ñàkk nañ ko.
the paraphernalia we need will be absent.
li nga xam ne loolu lañ soxla nag pour jëfee ko duñ ko am.
And then we are still ambitious.
te benn tey tamit ñu ngi am xalaat gu sori.
Where are we?
bon fuñ jëm.
When we don't have the tools and the means.
su fekkoon ne amuñ jumtuwaay ak man-man bi.
But we have the desires and the ambition.
waaye nag suñ xalaat ak suñ bugga am nañ ko.
It becomes confrontation.
bon nag dina doon loo xam ne kàddu yu jaamaarloo laa
resulting from frustration.
loolu lépp li ko waral mooy jaaxle ak jaxasoo boo xam ne.
So like if we have to achieve this, never again.
mel ni lii ñu binda nii ne never again bu mu fi amati mukk.
The most critical mass is the youngster, the child.
mbooloo mi gën a am solo nag mooy gune gi.
And the early youth.
ak ndaw yi.
Not the later one.
waxuñ mag yi de.
The later one is looking for secretarial positions and political power, whatever.
xëy na yeneen ndaw yi xala magaale ñoom ñu ngi ut ay yeneen i bunta politique.
It's a question of conscientization.
dafa des na ci ni nga xam ne noonu la ñoo toogee seet.
We change the mentality.
pour ñu wecci xalaati nit ñi.
And then we can have the desire.
bu ko defee nag suñ bugga ñu mun koo.
Let me cite some examples.
ma joxe ci ay misaal.
When Yaya Jammeh and the fellow juntas took the country,
Yaya Jammeh ak ay ñoñam juntas si biñ jëlee réew mi.
they were mainly between 25 and 30 years.
ñoom ñëpp ay ndaw lañ diggante ñaar fukki at ak juróom ba fanweeri at.
They are youngsters.
ay ndaw lañ woon.
They have not given us anything that could be desired. They left much to be desired. Presently, all our youths, we have all converged in the urban area, competing for the most limited resources. When we have a lot of opportunities, we can fall back on. And become a better society. Again, another thing. Unless we stop saying me and my family first. And become patriotic to say when it is country, it is everyone plus me and my family.
Unless we
nurture and establish such mentality, we will find it very difficult to go anywhere. I thank you very much for what you have endeavored and the whole team. Of course, at this time, I wouldn't want you to take all the credit. We have seen the elderly who had endeavored and negotiated, mediated during the impasse and all about it. So it was a collective credit and a collective merit. But it is a collective responsibility also to maintain it and ensure sustainability for posterity. I would want you to make any comments relating to this, but I'm happy that you said it is we the people who have to have the requisite discipline. Not only that, but all the other attributes relevant to effect the desirable and lasting change we need. On that note, I thank you very much.
Wow, I don't know where to start. Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner Kinte.
Commissioner Kinte.
That was very philosophical, if I could call it that. And you raised a lot of points. But I'll try to summarize my understanding and give you my perspective. I don't like to subscribe to the narrative of colonial, I mean, the colonial masters have their influence.
ñi nga xam ne nag ñoo doon jiite woon fii di nguuri tubaab yi nag amoon nañ seen
the language I'm speaking to you.
li nga xam ne nii moom laay wax nii.
Alien or colonial.
lu jëm ci wàllu mbiri gan yi.
So is the Quran that you read in Arabic.
ni ki alxuraan bi nga jàngee ci arab.
And I think the narrative I think that is important is we cannot change the past.
li nga xam ne moom laa wax xalaat ne moo am solo mooy mënuñoo wecc nag li ñu jox gannaaw.
I mean, we had our glory days and then subsequently we were colonized by different imperial forces. And even now it's now Chinese, Turkish, and you know it. What does that tell you about us? We're always looking for the other. We don't look inwards. Because when we were growing up, if you remember, when you come on time, and you hear Kitubabla,
they say this one is a white one.
Everything that's good and virtuous.
When
you're truthful, all the good things we give to Tubab. And if you go back to our Chosan, Africa, where we used to be, this is the bedrock of value and culture. The first human being is from here. Where did we go wrong? That anthropologist can answer. My limited knowledge, I think the solution starts from the home. There's no university. No school. That can make you an honest man. It's family values. It's where you get your schooling, where it is built and nurtured. Whatever values I have today, the values my parents gave me, those values are unshakable. Wherever I go, I carry them with me. I can add on top of it, but I don't reduce it. So we have an education system that's broken. Back in the days, you have a strong family support system, strong value system, not only family but community that reinforce. If you're a young child, you dare not walk in the street and hold a cigarette. Any parent will see a child and stop you and actually reprimand you. If it's time to go to Dara or school in Banjul and you're roaming in the street, I remember as a kid, I was riding my bicycle and MC Cham saw me and stopped and said, "Where are you going?" and told me to go home. I mean, that's how we grew up. We were everybody's child. Everybody's child's business was the communities. Today, we have outsourced the upbringing of our children to the schools. The quality of teachers we have today are different from the quality we had in yesteryears. Those were educators, they were teachers. This problem is, to fix it will take generations. But it will surely start from the home. Each family should take the responsibility of instilling values. Today, if you are a young woman or young man, you come home, you bring a car that you can afford, and your parents doesn't ask you where you got this car. Or you go out till 5 in the morning, no one cares. When we're growing up, it was not like that. But now it's like the parents have, some parents at least, have abdicated the responsibility to some extent. Now we have the social media and internet, which is what is training our children. Social media, and our values are being diluted. And I'm not sure whether the boss hasn't already gone, but I think each individual has to make as much effort as possible at your family level to give your children certain values. So wherever they go in the world, I mean, I live abroad most of my life, but there's certain things that I will never do. Because when I do something, I not only do it's not only about me, it's about I'm offending my family's name. It means something to me. And I'm sure many Gambians are in the same position. So it's different. Now when we were growing up, you wanted to be like Lamine because he's a smart, educated man. Today you want to be like Mr. Y because he has a story building or has a big car. So it has all changed. And really, it's now the materialism that determine success. I go to university and I'm talking to young aspiring lawyers. Why do you want to be a lawyer? Oh, I want to have a nice house. I want to have a nice car. Typical. I mean, and to be honest with you, a lot of young people choose professions based on what they can get materially. That is the norm. Before, there was value in being smart and being educated, being well-read. It had value. Now, if somebody speaks bad English, you correct them, they tell you, oh, you're an elite. This language is alien to us. That's what it is. So you have journalists writing bad English every day in the papers. You have, you listen to the news, press releases, you can pick up every day. So mediocrity is normal, and people who speak out against it are elite. So being excellent is elite, and mediocrity is normal. How can you change a country with mediocrity? Are we ready for prime time? That's a rhetorical question. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Amen. Bishop Odeko, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman.
Jërëjëf, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Salieu Taal.
Jërëjëf, Salieu Taal.
For being a very brilliant witness to the TRRC.
Nga nekk koo xam ne nag ko am solo nga fii ci TRRC.
My question is about the former Chief Justice Fagbele.
Li ma bëgg a laajte mooy mbiri kii fi musoon a nekk Chief Justice Fagbele.
When did he actually left the scene?
Kañ la fi bàyyeekoo?
He left in 2017.
Daf fi jóge ko ci atum 2017.
In fact, one of the letters, the last letters we submitted was asking for his resignation. That letter was written in 2017.
We
catalogued everything he did, particularly during the impasse. I mean, if he had his way, Yaya would be president. But there were forces stronger than him. Even we even got force from his hometown. So at some point, he had no option. At some point, he recused himself. I didn't continue the case. Yeah, but he left in 2017.
Thank you. Imam Jallo, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chair. Witness, I must first of all congratulate you for your brilliant delivery. You have exposed a lot of things that maybe the Gambian population didn't know. Particularly effort your group took to ensure that you do not allow Yaya to stay in this country.
Surtout taxawaay yi nga xam ne yow yaak sa mbooloo mi jël ngeen ko pour gis ne Yaya du continuer toog ci biir réew mi.
The way I see things,
man mbir yi ni ma ko gisee.
Lot of groups worked to get Yaya out of this country.
Am na ay mbooloo yu ci bari yoo xam ne taxawoon nañ pour génne Yaya ci réew mi.
The first group is the electorate itself.
Bu njëkk bi mooy ñi nga xam ne sax ñoo sànni seeni karta.
We went all out to vote him out.
Nga xam ne ñoom ñëpp dañ sànni karta pour génne ko ci réew mi.
We had soldiers who came here to this commission.
Am nañ ay soldaar yu ñëw fii ci commission bi.
And told the commission that they actually burnt down 200,000 votes which were kept somewhere.
ñoo xam ne sax wax nañ commission bi ne dañ lakka ay carte yoo xam ne ñaar téeméeri junne carte lañ yoo xam dañ ko jëloon lakka ko béréb.
But the work of the bar
waaye liggéey bi nga xam ne moom la lawyer yi def.
is very outstanding.
loolu nag lu taxawee boor la.
And I first of all would like to congratulate you and your group for that.
te maa ngi laa gërëm bu baax a baax yow yaa sa mbooloo mi.
But my question is,
waaye nag li ma laajte mooy.
putting all this into context,
suñ boolee lii yépp nag.
realizing that we have now got Yaya out of this country.
te gis nañ nag ne fi mu nekk nag fexe nañ ba génnee Yaya ci biir réew mi.
We are the creation of all these political parties in this country.
li nga xam ne moom lañ sos parti politique yu bari yépp ci biir réew mi.
How would this affect our and cohesiveness which earned us the opportunity to kick Yaya out?
loolu naka la ñoo mën a dimbale taxawaay bi nga xam ne moom lañ jël pour daxa Yaya fii.
I want your reaction to this.
dama bëgg nga wax fi sa xalaat ci loolu.
I feel like I'm being cross-examined.
mu ngi mel ni dañ ma nekk rek di laajte.
But I must say, excellent question.
danaa ne nag laajte bu am solo la.
First of all, I will say that, like Commissioner Kinte said, our group was a catalyst.
Comme ni Commissioner Kinte waxee rek ne suñ groupe bi nag royuwaay la.
That was able to galvanize Gambians to come together, particularly the youth.
boo xam ne na dana mën a dajale ndaw yi yëpp Gambie rawatina ndaw ñi.
It was just, it happened that it passed through us.
dafa xew rek ne dafa jaaree ci ñun.
But it is a victory for all the Gambians, particularly the youth. So I think if
waaye nag ndam la pour Gambien yëpp.
we should congratulate everyone that really played their part, because
nag dañ war a ndokkale ñëpp ñi nga xam ne ñoo si dugal seen bopp.
Because I remember during the inauguration of the President Barrow.
maa ngi fàttali jamono falu tey President Barrow.
The stadium was full of Gambians decided T-shirt decorations.
ndax stadium bi mu ngi feesoon tepp ak T-shirt yi nga xam ne moom lañ bind ne Gambian has decided.
And we had nothing to do with it.
te amuñ dara lu ñu war a defee ak loolu.
We just found it there.
foofu lañ ko fekk rek.
That showed you that it took a life of its own, and Gambians made it work, and Gambians own it.
nekk na mbir moo xam ne Gambien ñu moo ko moomale woon seen bopp.
And that was what we wanted.
loolu lañ bëggoon.
So for us, even when we started making T-shirts, we had some groups making T-shirts, but they didn't have the right logo, and they were selling it for money. We sent them the logo. I said, if you're going to do it right. If you make money, but we have more T-shirts. So we said, no problem. Sell T-shirts, and the more the merrier. We could have actually trademarked. Gambia has decided. We decided no, this belongs to Gambia, because we know how to do that. We could have monetized it, but we thought this belongs to Gambia, and it's Gambia's efforts that made it successful. And for me, that's what I believe. I mean, of course, those people who started, I think they were very brave, but they just happened to be they were put in a position and they did what they had to do. But without the Gambians, it would have just been another hashtag or another movement. Now, the last question. What was the last question again?
Imam, yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
How the integration of all these parties.
Oh, okay, yes.
Your mic.
How can we ensure that
Ma'am Jallo, your mic is not on.
Actually, I understand the question. I remember.
Okay, you can find it. It's all right.
To be honest with you, one of my biggest disappointment is in the political parties.
Political party.
They never acknowledge.
Gambians
decided. Not me personally, but Gambians decided. I was invited by the President of France. I've been to places, I've met great people. Up till today, as I speak, nothing has happened. I'm not looking for acknowledgement. I don't need acknowledgement. We don't need acknowledgement. We did something, it was almost like divine. We just did it. We didn't even know why we did it. Everybody else is inviting us. World-class places where top people go, and in the top 10, we're sitting there on the table.
Except Gambia.
Documentaries are done by Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera def ko ak yeneeni place.
GRTS actually recorded us.
GRTS nak record nañu.
And we're told not to air it.
Waaye nag wax nañu ne duñ ko def.
Because some people were uncomfortable.
Waaye ndax am na ñoo xam ne daal dalu doon xel.
In this so-called New Gambia.
Li nag xew na fii ci suñu Gambia gu
political parties felt threatened. They thought we wanted to have a political party.
ñoom nag fii gis na dañ leen xupu.
And many theories. Even for us to be invited to the inauguration was a discussion.
Pour ñu sax ñu ñu ci falute go na dañ lu ñu waxtaanee la woon.
But it's okay.
Waaye nag baax na.
We have shown that when we did it, we didn't look for ministerial appointments.
Waaye nag xam na ne buñ ko defee tamit nekkuñ pour dañoo tànneef.
Has solicited.
Amu kenn ci suñ nit ñoo xam ne sàkku na.
Any board commission up till today.
Board commission ba tey jii.
None of our members.
Kenn ci ñun.
Because we were professionals who were earning their living.
Ndax ñun ñu màcc lañ ci ni nga xam ne noonu lañ doon amee suñ dundi.
Continue to earn their livings. Employing Gambians, paying taxes without government. We did it for our country. And when we post 2017, I remember when the government when they decided to appoint Fatou Tambajang. Knowing that she was over age. We were a lonely voice. On record. We were attacked, vilified in this country. I have a whole folder of everything I've written. About everything, every instance where the new government has broken the constitution, I have written about it on record. And in those days, it was one happy family. The moment you write, you're attacked. Today is different. And I remember when we were supporting Occupy Westfield, some young kids who were complaining about NAWEC. We as government decided we were supporting them because we believe they have a right to protest. We were being attacked. They insult us, our parents. Those same people who are attacking us are now in the same situation. So you see, principles and values should not change based on circumstances. And that is what happens in Gambia. Today, the position you take today for interest, tomorrow you might be supporting someone blindly, even if it's wrong. Tomorrow you might find yourself on the other side of the fence. So for us, we believe that the political environment deliberately did not want us to thrive. So, I mean, my members are all, they're professionals. Each one went to continue their jobs. I ran for bar president and I work. One of my partners, Rafi, joined a political party. So now the legacy remains. But the political parties did not want a strong civil society. I can tell you. Because if you think about it, from 2017 to date, name one piece of legislation that has been passed by our National Assembly that is for the benefit of the citizen, that is empowering us. One. Every piece of legislation passed has been self-serving. Reducing age limit, increasing salaries, so on and so forth. Not one piece of legislation has been changed, and I stand corrected. 2017 till today. All the laws that are being passed in Parliament is either what would benefit MPs or groups, but nothing for the country, nothing for the citizens. This is the fact. I mean, we can talk, we can talk about the Constitution, but law. Why can't you repeal those draconian laws? Those draconian laws, as we speak today, are being used and charged. The Gambians are being charged by with those draconian laws as we speak today. We speak today. What has changed really? The only thing that has changed is no one is getting killed. And we will not allow anyone to take advantage of us. So our freedom of expression is not given to us by anybody. It's because we refuse to allow anybody to muzzle our voice again. So nobody give it to us. Nobody.
I hope the one exception in the laws is the passing of the TRRC Act. 2017. And in that also, I hope they consulted the Bar Association, because you are mentioned in Section 6 of the Act to be consulted among other entities by the President in the appointment, the establishment and appointment of the TRRC. I hope that is the case.
No, actually, what I mean is, of course, the CRC Act was done to create a constitution, the TRRC Act as well. I mean in terms of changing our laws. I mean, there was a roadmap. The roadmap was to have a new constitution and have transitional justice. For TJ justice, you have the TRRC. For the constitution, you have the CRC. Those were, frameworks created. But there are laws there, individual laws, many laws. No one has touched them.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Oh, thank you.
For the record.
Thank you. Imam Diallo, you have a...
You still not touched on my point on the creation of all these multi-parties in this country. How will that affect our situation?
I think, we live in a multi-party democracy.
Si democracy bi ñuy dox mooy democracy bu yaatal ay parti
any group of people that meet the requirement can form a political party.
loolu mooy parti bu ñu mën a ànd rek am parti rek mën nañoo sos seen parti.
I don't think it is healthy for our democracy.
yaakaar naa nag du loo xam ne wér na pour suñ démocratie pour waaye political party yëpp.
But democracy is messy.
waaye démocratie nag nekk
the law allows people to have political parties. The moment you start questioning the right for someone to have a party, you are being undemocratic. That is a byproduct of democracy. I don't think we need more than 4 parties in a small country. How many do we have now? I think we have what? And more will come. And it dilutes. It causes a lot of problems, but it comes with the terrain.
Thank you. Imam C, you have the floor, please.
Mr. Salieu,
Mr. Salieu, we are thanking you, appreciating you for the clarification. What I'm just inspired that the letter you wrote, that you sent to the Nigeria until he reached to the president, you have done something very good. You have inspired yourself there through your knowledge. It's a big jihad. And all the meetings that you held, even you lost your lives there, you will go to heaven. And all those t-shirts that you are distributing was a very good job. And it's a very big jihad. We are appreciating you, thanking you for that. And that is only mature. I know that the lawyers have power in any democratic country. That's in good capacity you also. And if all this was not your efforts, I'm not saying that it will not happen, but it will take a long time. We are thanking you very much.
Commissioner.
Imam, thank you.
Thank you very much, indeed. Mr. Taal, if you have any remarks to conclude your brilliant testimony, you may please proceed to make them now.
Taal, would I am going to do not your buga text, I'm solo you,
Thank you. I wish to extend my profound gratitude. Firstly, to the chair,
chairman,
the commissioners,
the
entire TRRC family, including the faceless support staff, who together ensure that the Commission delivers on its mandate. The foundation stone of our transitional justice process is the TRRC. I think it is important to remind ourselves of the mandate of the Commission. This is because many non-legal or lay persons perceive or misperceive the TRRC as a court of law, deciding the fate of witnesses who are simply witnesses to the Commission. It is important to reiterate and clarify that the Commission has powers akin to that of a high court. But it is not a court of law. Although it exercises quasi-judicial powers, within a limited and defined scope, for the purpose of being able to get witnesses to testify and testify truthfully. The TRRC Act provides for the establishment of the historical record of the nature, causes, extent of violations, and abuses of human rights committed between July 1994
July 1994
to January 2017. I don't need to spell out what is on Section 13. I think that is known to everyone here. But I think it is important to just remind us of 13A. The need to create an impartial historical record of violations and abuses from July 1994 to January 2017. For what purpose? Promote healing and reconciliation. To respond to the needs of the victims. To address impunity. To prevent a repetition of the violations and abuses, and come up with recommendations to put mechanisms in place to prevent them from happening again. In the quest to first and foremost establish the truth without any embellishments or underlying motive other than telling the truth, the first truth that must be recognized is that the freedom Gambians enjoy today
mooy nag tey li Gambien di bànneexu de sago si ñoo demee.
is not given to us by any leader.
joxuñu ko nag di benn njiit.
politician. or group of politicians.
wala ñoo xam ne ni ñoom lañ.
Let it be on record.
nañ ko def nag ci pour mu feeñ.
that the Gambian people.
ne doomi Gambien yi.
through the ballot box.
ci ballot box yi.
voted for change.
loo xam ne ni nag dañ wote woon pour wecceeku.
and asserted their rights.
te tamit ñu gaaral nag li nga xam ne ni mooy seen yelleef.
and sovereignty as citizens.
ak li nga xam ne ni nag mooy seen sovereignty comme doomi réew mi lañ.
I want to thank the Gambian people.
maa ngi gërëm nag doomi Gambien yi.
for finally deciding to use their vote on December 1st.
ci ni nga xamee ni noonu lañ xalaate woon jël seen carte ni ki benn fan ci weeri décembre.
to dismantle a 22-year-old dictatorship.
pour génne fi nguur goo xam ne ni nguur ak jaay doole la ci ñaar fukki at ak ñaar.
We are here today because Gambians decided for change.
ñu ngi fii tey pour ndax Gambia dañ xalaatoon pour indi wecceeku.
Gambians decided to restore our dignity and sovereignty as a people.
Gambian yi dañ doon fexe nag delloowaat suñu daraja ak ne doomi Gambien lañ.
This is the starting point of our conversation on the road to rebuilding a nation.
lii nag mooy suñ commencé suñ waxtaan pour ne jamono bi nga xam ne ñu ngi daal di continuer suñ taxawaay.
A nation that is founded on democratic values.
réew mi nga xam ne nag am nañ démocratie.
of tolerance.
masla.
love for country.
am cofeel pour sa réew.
respect for the rule of law.
ciral nag topp loi.
and justice.
ak dëgg ak àtte.
As we turn to a new page.
jamono bi nga xamee nag ñu ngi ci beneen fànn bu ees.
and revisit the past.
ñu tey tamit di bàyyi xel li ñu jox gannaaw.
Let us learn from our dark history.
nañu jàngee nag ci suñ jamono bu lëndëm bi ñu jox gannaaw.
And I said dark, I mean the 22 years.
li ma miin foofu rek mooy ñaar fukki at ak ñaar ci gannaaw.
of the Jammeh era.
di nguuri Jammeh.
and ensure that.
te gis na itamit ne.
that slogan never again on that wall.
bàkk wi nga xam ne nii mooy never again mooy bu mu amaat fii.
It's not merely a slogan.
nekkul aw bàkku rek de.
We must move beyond the rhetoric.
foog si rek ñu dox ci lu weesu suñ njott.
To move beyond the rhetoric and hashtags.
pour dox nag lu weesu suñ njott ci loolu.
We must, with sincerity.
foog si rek ñu tuux.
genuinely heal as a people.
tey tamit ñu góore rek juboo comme ne ay doomu aadama lañ.
build a cohesive nation.
dal di wéral fii nag réew moo xam ne nii.
that creates a space.
boo xam ne nii yaatal na suñ bopp.
for all its diverse people.
ci nit ñi nga xam ne ñoo fi nekk.
from our different faiths.
ci suñ diine yu bokkut.
culture.
aada.
cultures.
aada.
ethno-linguistic groups.
ki tamit nag lu jëm ci mbootaay yi nga xam ne ñu ngi seen dox.
age.
at yi.
gender.
diggante góor ak jigéen.
and geographic location.
ak nekkin bi.
we must.
foog si rek day.
eliminate.
ñu génnee fi.
all the binaries that creates a narrative of one against another.
lépp loo xam ne ni daal dafay dingatante ci ñunu neen.
a narrative that polarizes us.
loo xam ne ni danañu xejamal suñ nekkin.
and uses us as political pawns or instruments.
mu jëfoo ñu dal di ñu jëfoo ne ay jumtuwaay politique.
This is what Jammeh did to us as a people.
lii la ñu Jammeh def ni ne ay nit lañ.
And we must ensure that we collectively resist any system that purports to divide us as a people.
te itamit foog si rek ñu dingat lépp loo xam ne daal def nañ ko loo xam ne danañu féewale.
Without justice.
ci dëdduteeg loi dëgg.
and accountability.
ak jub.
we will not heal as a nation.
duñ mos a juboo ne nekk benn réew lañ.
without healing.
te bu fekkee ne juboowuñ.
we will not enjoy an enduring peace.
duñ fi bànneexu te tamit duñ bànneexoo jàmm.
for this reason, amongst others.
ci yooyu ak yeneen yi ni mel.
it is important that at the end of the TRRC process.
ci njeexteel pencum TRRC mi.
those found to bear the greatest responsibility for causing serious human rights violations.
ñi nga xam ne ni nag ñoo fi def lu aju ci wàllu xëtti yelleefi doomu aadama.
must be brought to book.
foog si rek ñu àtte leen.
and preferably in the Gambia.
te tamit daal liñ ci gën a namm mooy fii ci réewi Gambia.
without preempting the finding of the commission.
te nga xam ne ni duñ mën a seetantal rek li nga xam ne mooy li TRRC bi gëstu.
I urge the government.
maa ngi sàkku nag ci nguur gi.
particularly the President of the Republic.
rawatina na président bu République bi.
to ensure that.
mu gis ne.
The final recommendation of the TRRC
li nga xam ne moom la ñu mujjee ci ràññeef ci pencum TRRC
is implemented to the letter.
dal dinañu ko doxal ni mu waree.
This is the least Gambians expect.
lii nag loolu la Gambien yi séentu ci li mu gën a tuuti.
The victims are crying for justice.
ñi nga xam ne ñoo si loru ñu ngi jooy pour ñu jaarale leen ci dëgg.
And it is important that we have closure to forge ahead as a people.
tey tamit am na solo lool ne dañu ngi jege ci jamono boo xam ne ni dañ nekkaat benn.
As Gambians,
ne ay doomi Gambien lañ.
we have learned that brutality and wickedness is not alien to us.
gis nañ ne daal toroxalante nekk na mbir moo xam ne ni lu gan la ci ñun.
As proven by the gruesome testimonies we all heard.
te ñaawteef yi nga xam ne nii dal dinañ ko fi wax ci ñenn ñi nga xam ne ñoo fi seede.
The inhumane and indignity meted out on many victims was made possible.
ci ñàkk doomu aadama yaa gi nga xam ne nii méttital nañ ko ñenn nit ñi.
Because many of our brothers and sisters
ndax ñu bari nag di ay suñuy rakk yu góor yu jigéen.
made it possible.
dal dinañu waral.
enabled it.
dimbale.
wittingly or unwittingly.
ci fii wala ci nii wala ci nële rek.
The enablers.
ñi nga xam ne nii ñoo doon jàppale.
include all of us.
bokk na ci di ñun ñëpp.
from the citizens.
di ñi dëkkee ci réew mi.
including my humble self.
bokk na ci di man ci suma bopp.
who remained quiet for a good part of 22 years.
ñoo xam ne nii toog nañ noppi rek lu dem ci diirab ñaar fukki at ak dara.
in the face of systemic human rights violations.
ci wàlli li nga xam ne nii mu ngi jëm ci xëtt yelleefi doomu aadama.
to the security personnel.
ci ñi nga xam ne ñoo yëngu ci wàlli kaaraange.
who are supposed to defend us.
ñoo xam ne ñoom ñoo ñu waroon a dal di taxaw.
but became instruments of oppression.
waaye nag mujjee na nekk ay jumtuwaay yu méttital.
to elected National Assembly members.
ci nekk nag tànneef ci néegi député yi.
who allowed the constitution to be changed over 50 times to entrench the dictatorship.
nga xam ne ni nangu nañ nag luwaay réew mi ñu wecci ko ay yooni yoon pour maye nag nguur ak jaay doole.
to our learned attorney generals.
to suñ ay attorney general ci.
who crafted laws to repress our fundamental rights.
ñi nga xam ne nii ñoo fi jagaloon ay luwaay yoo xam ne ni danañ yokkal suñ noteel ak suñ sago.
and use the laws to prosecute us.
ak jëfoo luwaa bi nag pour toroxal ñu.
at the pleasure of Babili Mansa.
ngir rek bégal Babili Mansa.
to our judges.
ci suñ attekat yi.
mercenary foreign judges.
rawatina attekat yi nga xam ne nii dañ leen fay rek ñuy def lu leen neex.
and some homegrown ones.
ak ñi nga xam ne nii fii lañ màggee.
who ceded their independence to State House.
ñi nga xam ne nii dal di woon nañ jël seen sago rek dénk ko independent State House.
and help Jammeh imprison his opponents or anyone who dared oppose him.
te di dimbal Jammeh nag pour mu def na lu ko neera ci ñi nga xam ne ñoo ko dingat.
to our vice president.
ci suñ vice président.
who stood by Jammeh.
koo xam ne mu ngi taxaw ci pegg Jammeh rek.
constantly nodding her head in support.
saay bu nekk rek di yëngat boppam bi rek ne ànd na ci lu mu wax.
unconscionably.
te ñaare sax du nekk ci xelam.
to our cabinet ministers.
suñ ministre yi.
who cheered him on for 22 years.
ñoo xam ne nii nekk nañ fi ci ñaar fukki at ak ñaar.
and crafted policies that fed a dictatorship.
te tamit di doxal sarta yoo xam ne nii dafay dundal nguuru jaay doole.
to our religious leaders.
si suñ njiiti aada diine yi.
who prayed for Jammeh to stay in power forever.
di ko ñaanal ne Jammeh na fi nekk ba faw.
and did not speak truth to power.
te seetuñ lii nga xam ne mooy dëgg ji.
of course with a few exceptions like the Babalis and the Hannah Falls.
ak ñi nga xam ne uute nañ ku mel ni ki Babali ak Hannah Fall.
to civil society.
ci ñi mbootaay yi dox ci biir réew mi.
for morphing into service providers.
te ñi nga xam ne nii ñooy doxal suñ service yi.
and finally to my learned friends.
ak mujjeental yi suma mbokk yi looyaay.
who treaded carefully with a few exceptions.
ñoo xam ne dox nañ bu baax te ak ñenn ñoo xam ne nag uute nañ ci.
for 22 years.
mais ñaar fukki at ak ñaar.
until that fateful day on the 14th of December 2016.
ba bés boobu nag fukki fan ak ñeenti 2015.
when we finally mustered the courage.
ñoo nga xam ne mujjee gi nag nangu nañ nag xeertu googu.
stand up to the dictatorship.
ci dingat nag li nga xam ne mooy nguur ak jaay doole.
never again.
lii ñu wax never again.
must we allow the dictatorship to take any shape or form in the Gambia.
mënuñoo nangu rek dictatorship jël nag fii ci réewi Gambia.
like my brother Cherno Marena said in his testimony.
comme Cherno Marena suma brother bi lim fi waxee.
we get the leaders we deserve.
ñu jot nag njiit yi nga xam ne ni ñoom lañ yelloo.
let us hold our leaders accountable. Not only at State House.
State House
at all levels. I cannot finish my statement without recognizing the support of people who really played a huge part, but not known to Gambians, in the restoration of our democracy. I would start with Minister Babashola Fashola.
Minister Baba Fashola.
Former Lagos Governor, now Minister of Works.
Lagos Governor, Minister Nigeria.
Their brother who mentored me, supported me, and gave me access to the corridors of power in Nigeria. My brother, and senior, Barrister Femi Falana.
Suma benen brother Felina. Falana.
Femi Falana. For his indefatigable advocacy in the sub-region. Amplifying our voices in both local and international media. Landra Suraj, Executive Director for Serap and HEDA, for the solidarity and support. To the Pan-African Lawyers Union, PALU, for the intense lobbying at the AU, and for their support and constant solidarity. And special thanks to my sister, Fatou Senghor, and Aisha Dabo. These two women are extraordinary. I came from a background of corporate law, and my clientele are usually big businesses. I found myself into activism. And they gave me a crash course. Exposed me, used their contacts, and happily stayed in the background while trusting me in the limelight. I cannot thank them enough. And I'm just one of many Gambians that they've been supporting over the years. I'm sure these are Gambians that the president deserves to decorate. And I would like to thank my family, both my parents, my late parents, my siblings, and especially my wife, who has been a pillar of support for me, and is a very courageous woman, who never for one told me to stop. And I would like to thank all the listeners, and I would enjoin the Gambian people to remember we have more in common as a people. Whilst we are entitled to support our different political parties, let us respect each other. We have an election coming. Let us watch our language. Let us be guarded. As a country, without peace, you cannot enjoy democracy. Only one person will be president. So let us conduct ourselves with decorum and respect. Our leader, in peace, and revert back to the harmony as Gambians. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Salieu Taal.
Mr. Salieu Taal,
for those very wise concluding remarks. I would only echo sentiments that you express on behalf of the Commission.
feeñal na rek kàddu yi nga xam ne wax nga ci turi commission bi.
The right that we exercised in December 2016 to change the Gambia.
Yelef boobu nga xam ne moom lañ doxee rek pour indi wecci ko ci 2016 fii ci réewi Gambia.
Must not.
Munuta war a nekk.
And I believe shall not be squandered.
Tey tamit duut loo xam ne nii dañ koy sànni noonu.
The TRRC,
pencum TRRC,
in the fulfillment of its mandate,
pour nag mottali li nga xam ne nii mooy seen sas,
will contribute its share
danañu daldi yaatal nag seen dollal
in the endeavor to bring about that change.
Pour nag indi wecceeku boobu noonu.
But I thank you enormously for your contribution for this almost 2 days now.
Kontaan naa di gërëm naa la bu baax ci sa teewaay ci diiri ñaari fan tey.
And for your testimony as a whole. Thank you so much.
Sa seede fii ci jotaay bi.
This will bring us to the end of our proceedings for today. We will resume tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock sharp. In the meantime, the Reparations Committee would have a brief meeting at 3:30 in the conference room upstairs. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much indeed.
When we touch down, better broke down.
Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's how she became mine and see the
For all your pastry, bakery, and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings, and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European, and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe, and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek loolu lañ soxlaati rek maanaam bu ngeen am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba la ka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi defee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw fii ngeen di ñëw skincare plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indi les products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen ne lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skin care products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit bentee tamit si ay dàlla man waaye man nag skin care mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner, Kiwi Eye, the whole range, Lighten Up Gold, Tomatine. I mean, the list can just go on and on and on and on. Lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox. Skincare plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu ngi United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes, you know, fragrances, men's shirts, accessories. We do dresses as well. We do blouses. I mean, we do shoes. Name it, we do them. Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection. Zero task. Fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task kenn waratu fi am problème kanam kenn waratu fi am problème yu picca boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii.
Love, love, love like fire. Bring